is up, everyone? Human, cat, and dog. We hope that you're having a fantastic night on this Midnight Ranting, howling at the moon. Is Christianity, dun dun dun, rational? Where we are having a modern-day debate-inspired after-party on the topic of, is Christianity rational? So won't you join James W. and myself, Amy Newman, for a good time worth raising the dead? Ha. I want to thank everyone out there on the intertubes.
James Wolfe is saying they play Christian Connection ads before our videos.
Really?
It's like a Christian dating app, probably.
That is amazing. So if you are a single Christian, maybe you are looking for the next lovely atheist lady out there, or man, whatever you're into.
There you go.
Oh, I can only imagine. I think it's funny because, we're going to get lumped in with, the theological channels out there because, the algorithm's like, hey, you're talking about Jesus. And James is like, ism.
Right.
However, if you disagree with us, if you are a theist out there, a Christian, we hope that you can have a place here to be skeptical and ranting, because that's all we really care about is putting our beliefs to the test. Indeed, we are going to be sending out in early as we warm everyone up, and I hope we are warming you up.
This will be quick.
In early StreamYard link. Though I will say it never arrives prematurely. It gets there exactly at the time it was supposed to. However, if you enjoy the show, please don't forget to like, follow on Twitch, heyo Twitchosphere, and subscribe on YouTube, because it gives you access to that premiere button icon, which when set to all will send you reminders to see those premieres and join our live streams like this right here. What is up, y'all? Bree.
Bree out there. Hey, Bree.
Non-existent, liking that thumbs up. What is up, Johnny Reapin? What is up, Orson said, and oh my.
Already.
With a $5 super chat, tied with Titan Uranus for the best username on the internet.
Good to see you, SW.
For energy. Would like to remind you that Amy is the murderer with the lead pipe in the kitchen. See, it's always the maid. This is what you need to look out for.
So Newman in the pipe, with the kitchen in the pipe.
Exactly. It was definitely me in the kitchen with the pipe. It's just not the pipe you were thinking of. Anyway, sending so much love to Stupid Horror Energy and just going like this, because I know Stupid Horror. Whoa. Sending so much love out there, who consistently ask the best creationist or anti-creationist and anti-theological questions.
And Hoban's nemesis.
Yes, while making them say the word Stupid Horror Energy. But the StreamYard link is in there. We want to send love to everyone. Amber, Khaleesi, Nathist, Lowkeefer, Adam, Skywatcher. I still find this funny. What is up, James Wolfe? What is up, Pat Knoll? And what? Gizmo, the true star of the show, absolutely.
That's right.
Michael Maria, Amber, the Sinister Porpoise. If we missed your name, Coffee Mom, keep on saying hi, hello, and we'll keep on saying Base Theory, Jake Green, so many amazing people. Oh, lovely. Disciple Day. Oh, I always do that. No matter, literally, I've done it 3 times. Disciple Day.
Thank you
I
anyway.
just
Disciple
want
Day.
to
We
show
appreciate it.
how much love we're sending right back to you because you send love back to us. And okay, all of the loves out there, we're going to do a very quick. Instead of James and I having intro statements, because we normally do, we're just going to do our housekeeping where we say what's on our mind while shouting people out. That tends to be our shtick. Though we already have Reid and Base Theory back there with us, and that means creationists got to step up to the ball, especially of the young Earth variety.
The balls, particularly.
Exactly. Very specifically, I need you to step up with your ball. Oh, wait. A different type. This.
Where you want the bikini pics, Amy?
Oh my. Well, that happens a little bit later when it becomes the late show with Amy and James.
So you can send them to Goldie.
That's right. I need to send them basically to every conservative fundamentalist out there that consistently, every time they log on to the internet, begins to Google everything they can on like T-girls and being gay and being bi and being
Excuse me, sir. It's called opposition research, sir.
Oh my goddess. Sending love. I can't help but do this. The latest video by Tom Rabbit where he had a conversation. This is what happens when you spend and you're forced to be in a room with presuppositionalists for so long that you make argument a la memes that just seem to break the creationist mind. I don't know how, but Tom was able to create a syllogism where he just asked Mr. Batman quite simply, is Batman the world's greatest detective? And I could not do justice to what came out of Mr. Batman's mouth. But he was like, sir, are you trying to tell me that a fictional character is the foundation of your epistemology? And everyone in the room was like,
well, no, you're the one saying that.
Well, yes, we are saying that. Just it's the Jesus and the
irony is lost on him.
The world's greatest detective, James. You can't escape him. Batman is everywhere. Mr. Batman is his father, but the Batman, you can't escape him.
I have to download all this gay porn, sir. It's called opposition research. I have to look and see what these depraved, hellbound freaks are doing. And, yeah.
James, you got to understand. The more you look at gay porn,
you're going to hell, sir. You're going to hell.
You know, defend yourself against it.
You can suck Satan's dick forever.
But speaking of sucking, which is what Gilbert, hopefully we have it at least James, myself, and Gilbert, we share an apartment complex with him in hell. Hopefully that's what he's doing. But if you would like to join the little Satan's Club, which is something, the girl deck, they all think that atheists are Satanists anyway. And all the Satanists are actually atheists. So not all of them. Good portion of them.
95%.
Yes. But sending love out to, once again, if you are a channel member, which you can become a member of by hitting that channel member and getting our evolving badges system that, you know, just through time seems to accumulate on our Patreon, one of the best ways to help us at patreon.com/AB Newman, so we can get all of this ridiculousness. I always love that they call this the little G God. Like they always they say that they want to respect like our ancestors, our elders, the people who came before us, and then they're like, hey, first of all, I know that like 100,000 years of like people living, breathing, dying after having children, you know, they existed out here, or at least that's what science says. But my Bible says that like there was only like 6,000 to 10,000 years, and so we're gonna yeet. I'm sorry, every time I use newfound lingo, a lot of the creationists are like, oh, I tuned my brain out. I'm sorry. You're going to throw away 90% of humanity, 90% of the people who lived and died to conform with your religious beliefs. Okay, that's cool.
Right, sir.
That's right.
Never happened. It's a lie. Repent and perish. You on your way to hell, sir.
But sending love out to all of them, including all the super chats. Sending love. We already got love from the he who may not be named, but we really love him, and also Stupid Horror Energy. And so sending love, you guys who make this possible, including Chris Disciple, including Dale Pastel, including James Wolfe, including Rachel Holland, including Senator Cato, and then Ian Davenport reminding us that some of these creationist arguments, they are, they're not as good as a watchmaker. I would stick with just a regular watchmaker making you watches instead of someone trying to compare a watch to a heart. James, if someone stuck a watch in replacement for your heart, how long do you think you'd last? But that's a straw man. But it's a watch on top of a watch on top of a watch. Everything is created. Everything is a watch.
That's
Sounds
right.
very
Watchable. It's a watch.
It makes sense. Anyway, sending love to Abcdeig, who reminds us that science actually has theories, and that our steel man of their interpretations are better than my straw man. I don't often bring it up first. We've been bringing it up first because of the debates like Goldie, but they sit there and be like, you think a man becomes a woman, and I don't know, that has to be in Mickey Mouse's voice. But it's like, no, that's a straw man of the interpretation. But you do believe, like, a snake has vocal cords, right? Like, it was going...
Definitely.
Eat the apple. That makes sense. No, really.
I don't really care if you care as long as you don't go.
Yeah. As long as you don't teach that in the classroom. Forward. Almost confused over my accents there. So Mr. Batman becoming a Hovan. Oh, God, just made me think of Matt Powell. Which is generally also, the facial expression that Matt makes when he's going down on Kent.
Something you tend to think about while you're on the toilet,
Yes. Last but not least, sending love to Regos, who reminds us we have a skeptic Bible study. That we do. We run we are in the middle of Jeshua. We are knees deep within him.
For the glory of God, though. It's
for
all
the
for
glory.
God's glory, right?
Exactly.
It's not for us. It's not for our glory. It's for God.
Exactly. When he drowns babies, it's to glorify him, I imagine. Probably.
Well, I mean, yeah.
But sending love to all of our super chatters.
He has a katana.
That's right. Oh, just some of the repertoire of the things. You'll notice that even I feel like I have trigger discipline, even with a stuffy. It's important. You never know when an evil witch is going to take over the land, and then your objects are going to become real, and then in that one moment, you'll be prepared. You never know when Untangelo is going to come on, and when we're going to talk about the genetic code. Did you know that we can not only have our 4 letters, but by making 3-letter combinations, we can make what are called codons? Remember, ladies and gentlemen, always make your Jell-O hot and then let it cool.
It have to be God, though. It can't happen by itself.
Exactly.
Jesus.
See, what's happening is Jesus very specifically is in every genetic sequence, and he's just sitting there working really hard, just high-fiving each one of your organelles. By hand.
Basically. I mean, I'm sure if you get a microscope in there, you could see it.
Exactly. But they never look, James. The scientists never look. They're biased. That's right, Sinister Porpoise.
Sinister Porpoise.
The porpoise that you want to think of when you think of sinister porpoises. Also, goodbye and so long for all the fish. But junk DNA is the code God commented out. Exactly.
Thanks for stopping by, Caterpillar.
As soon as we were able to find junk DNA and then one actual mutation turned out to be useful, you can see where that fills in syllogistically that the creator of the universe, very specifically the Judeo-Christian God, all-seeing, omnipresent, omnibenevolent, would exist. It basically just flows. Thank you so much, Sinister Porpoise. And thanks for all the fish.
Thanks, Sinister.
And one more week. Sending so much love from Stupid Horror Energy. Woo! Why do onions, it makes me think of an Onion Night random comment. Why do onions have more commented code than humans? Dun, dun, dun. Well, there's a simple answer. It's that onions are playing the long game, and that eventually they will erupt and be able to become our onion overlords. Probably. Why? Yes. You can see this every time you have a micro war with them. Just, you ever want to take the battle, just take a knife and just start fighting. You're going to see yourself. It's hard. You get emotional. That takes so much love, Stupid Horror Energy. Again, the best name with Titan Uranus, because who could pick? In fact, sometimes I like to think that a Stupid Horror Energy has a Titan Uranus, or vice versa. Either way, she is amazing, and each and every time. Yeah. Well, my favorite part about who she is every creationist starting out like, and then like their face just slowly getting more serious the longer they read her actual comment.
Ken's thinking, wait a minute, where's my slide for that? Where's my slide?
Well, actually, on DVD number 5.
Matt, you're supposed to have my slides ready, Matt.
But sending love to all of you out there. I guess I just wanted to say the one thing, and then we'll really get, because I don't have a formal speech. I come from a position where Christianity does not make sense. However, half of the book made sense to them, the Torah, and that also doesn't make sense to me. And so It's just a odd place to. I want to be convinced of just the certain things for Christianity to be true, and I know I've been shilling it, but I really am. There's the link. One of those is good evidence for a God. That has to be the foundational pillar. It has to be, in my opinion, something we can verify on more than just experience. It would be a Jesus or a prophet figure. I want to know why prophets would actually exist. Why prophets? Prophets make prophets. And then, why have miracle claims? Why have all of these prophets and gods, why have they become so lame? Why has it that miracle claims have become less verifiable the more time has come on and not more verifiable?
Well, I mean, I think in this debate, so of course Matt really crushed it. Of course, it's Matt Dillahunty. He's a great debater, but he really did very well in this debate. I liked when he pointed out that absence of evidence can be, in a sense, an evidence of absence. It's not dispositive, it's not conclusive, but there are certain propositions that you would definitely expect to find evidence of, and when you don't find it, doesn't absolutely mean rule it out, but it certainly points in that direction.
Exactly. Although absence of evidence is not always evidence of absence, sometimes it is, especially when you expect to find it, when you we've been waiting for this Jesus guy to come back for a long time.
Oh.
And the original apostles, as well as a lot of the gospel writers, thought that he was going to come back, or at least they made the appearance that he was going to come back in their time. And
well, you know what interested me from Stewart in this debate was, so he went full metaphorical. He says that the Old Testament, most of that is just metaphor. It's not actual events. Fine. He said John the Revelator, who wrote the book of Revelations, is schizophrenic. So I guess he's not taking that seriously. But yeah, he's basically throwing out a good chunk of the Bible that their religion is based on. And you know, it strikes me that if he's saying the Old Testament, most of that was metaphor, but Jesus didn't act like that. Jesus talked about, if he existed and said what they say, he talked about it as if they were real. He didn't say, oh, it's just stories, don't worry about it. No, he talked about it as if it was literal, actual history. And yeah, now if he would have said, oh, it's just stories that God sent down to help you understand something, fine, but he didn't say that. He certainly would have known it, but he didn't lead on to it if that was the actual case. So
if you're going to take it literally, give us some empirical evidence. I always say, if you're going to become a metaphorical Christian, a metaphorical theist, then I'm almost going to stop pushing you for evidence unless it's an actual debate against your religion. But if you're going to sit here and tell me that your holy text is not only a history book, but a science book, well, baby, we can put both of those to the test.
Well, so we know that the people of Israel, the ancient Hebrews, they came on the scene somewhere between maybe 900 to 1100 BC. But their writings, their contrived history goes back thousands of years before that, 4,000 years before that. So why would they do that? Why would they have to write a contrived history? Well, that's simple. It's because they were going to make miracle claims, and they knew that, and they had to put that stuff far enough in the past that nobody could ask for evidence of it. Because if you just made miracle claims about something that happened a year ago or 2 years ago, well, people were alive, then we would have known about that if it happened. But if you say all of a sudden, this was like 3,000 years ago, you know, okay, you wouldn't expect there to be evidence of it. You wouldn't expect any proof of it, so they could get away with it. And they knew that they were making up a contrived history. So that's just my theory on that.
And I just want to say, because I would be remorse if I didn't, because this modern day debate after party is inspired by a debate, sending love to James Coons, but on modern day debate between Stuart Connectley and Matt Dillahunty. It was great even getting to meet both of those guys for the little time. There was technology difficulties, but I'm biased towards, and I'm a tech gal. OBS, it's just been, although it can do great things, it sometimes also has its backsides too. I guess this is my time for StreamYard. StreamYard, if you're hearing me right now and you would like to sponsor the show, StreamYard, use it today. But it was still a great debate. I still, I'm biased. I always come on there trying to only be biased towards the Queen of Sound Bites. I think James Coons is the same way, but I'm biased towards, I think Matt did better, and that he is, he wasn't, like he said, he was not trying to put his worldview on the chopping block, because the atheist worldview is that foundationally is that there is no good evidence for a God. And so once we get into our worldview, it oftentimes is a separate subject. So yeah, I thought Matt did great. I thought Stuart is a nice guy, like a lot of people saying. Hopefully we can get him onto our team. And yeah, with that, anything else you think of,
we
James?
can go ahead and open it up. That's good.
Okay. We got numerous debates. We got something coming. We got numerous debates on our own as well coming up that we actually are finally in the finalization stages, including one that's going to be over Reid. Maybe we should talk base theory into coming on one. We need to get a whole bunch of atheist interlocutors, as well as we need to scavenge the internet. We just need to go on praise and standings on the Dawa channels and be like, hey, want to debate? I mean, I'll be nicer than that because I like to think that I love everybody and I'm just roasting and teasing them, but something like that. $5 from
get on with it.
Energy. Listen, put your weirdo stick down and invite base theory so he can play an incriminating audio.
Oh boy.
Oh my gosh. And as you say that, Ultimated joins us backstage. And so like I feel like you could say the plot thickens. But yes, I will put my weirdo stick down. Hold on. I'm holding this, but hold on. Let me just get my Whew! All right, it's down. And in the meantime, I'll keep this one up. Thank you so much, Stupid Energy.
It's not your job to keep it up. That job is Gavin's and Offie's to keep it up.
Exactly. It's to keep
if it goes down, that means they're not doing their job.
Exactly. But with that, we do have Mark and Based and Ultimated, and that is the list we're going in. We are Midnight Ranting on Is Christianity Rational? And I feel like we're going to find out an answer tonight, James. I can feel it.
Definitely.
What is up, Mark? Welcome to another very, very tame episode of Midnight Ranting, where we are...
it's always tame. It's always so tame over here.
G-Ray.
Exactly. And will I say meow? But when we are Midnight Ranting on Is Christianity Rational, what are your thoughts about the debate, the topic, or anything we've been talking about?
I enjoyed the debate, but, you know, it was very, very strange and weird. And the reason why I say that is because usually Stuart's actually better than that. He seemed to have, like, he resembled his father, Cliff, more than Stuart. Like, sort of, Cliff sort of just goes in to make sermons and stuff, and at least Stuart usually does, you know, is on topic and stuff. He was completely off topic the entire time. You know, telling stories, which is usually what Cliff does, which is kind of sad because, you know, I think that Stuart's better than that. He's sort of better than his dad in debate, but not today, unfortunately. He kind of just rambled about, you know, Africans and
that was bad.
Oh, that was terrible. And that
was a ridiculous comment.
And you know what? I liked that Matt was less, you know, I've seen him lately. He's been a bit sort of less patient than usual. He was really patient in this one. I like that. He just let Stuart talk and ramble on and then pointed out, hey, none of this has anything to do with the debate at all, kind of thing. Like, and he's right. Like, whether Christianity is useful or whether it makes you feel good or whether it has a calming effect on society, none of that speaks to rationality. And I don't know where Stuart actually addressed rationality. So rationality based upon logic, you know, he's sort of talking about the benefits and things. It's like, yeah, but that's got nothing to do with rationality. You know, it was very strange. It was very, very strange because usually Stuart's a lot better than that. He didn't seem prepared. I don't know what it was. Maybe he was just busy or something and didn't get fully prepared. I don't know, but yeah, I kind of wish it stuck.
Or Mark, this is low hanging fruit. Or do we become our parents and he's becoming his father?
Maybe. I mean, that did cross my mind, but you know, that would be a shame because. And I think you could see a bit of that. Like Cliff's just sort of, he usually rambles, does his sermons, does his, I knew
Preaching,
a person that once, he just preaches essentially, and then gets mad, kind of thing, and then gets incredibly angry. So hopefully Stuart isn't sort of going down that route, because Cliff, he's not that bad, but he just doesn't. He's not a person that debates. He's just a preacher, and I think that Stuart's a bit better than that. But yeah, well done to Matt Delahunty for putting up with all that waffle, and remaining relatively calm and collected through it all, because a lot of it was just waffle. Telling stories about how, you had parishioners, and telling a story about how you were removed from Christianity in college, kind of thing.
Oh yeah. And then he said he found evidence, but he didn't say what it was. What he said, I found lots of evidence, but what was it that you found?
And that he felt removed enough to be objective about it, kind of thing. And that's great to say, but it doesn't actually speak to any kind of rationality. Like, you're trying to tie it in with logic and reason and sort of how you felt in college. I fail to understand how that ties in to any logic or rationality, kind of thing. It's completely beyond me. Not that I would have agreed with him necessarily, but he didn't even seem to be trying. Like, that was the thing. So that's my opinion of the debate. I'm really sorry about the technical difficulties, Amy. That kind of sucked. It wasn't just you either. The stream crashed at the end of it.
I saw
OBS
that.
was fickle. It was a fickle day.
It's one of those things where all I said going into it was, I was like, here's how you are going to make it work. Instead of, you're going up with a big name, you want everything to go perfect and everything.
Right,
Instead of hyping yourself out, just pretend like it's a completely normal debate. And somehow, even doing that, it was like everything exploded, where you had it lagging, and then...
It happens. And Twitch was working fine, so it must have been the YouTube.
Oh, it was? Damn.
Yeah. I was on the Twitch channel, and it was working.
It was working
fine,
well from the beginning. On my OBS side, even from the beginning, it was working well. And so when I saw it on YouTube, my heart was dropping, because I'm like, what the hell can you fix? But I think James...
It was laggy from the start.
I think he understood that. Feed. I just beat myself up because I want it to go well, no matter who it is, whether it's...
I know.
You're a perfectionist.
I don't think this was your fault, because if Twitch was working perfectly fine and YouTube wasn't, well, it's
I'm sure it wasn't her fault. She's just a perfectionist. She wants everything to be perfect.
You should be kinder to yourself, though. It certainly wasn't your fault. But,
well, thank you, Mark.
It was obviously an intervention by God to make sure, Stuart didn't look as bad as possible, but... I guess there's a limit to God's power. Yeah, maybe Matt had an iron chariot in his pocket or something.
He wrote an iron chariot to the debate.
Yeah, absolutely. Who knows? No, I commend Matt. I like it when he remains calm, just lets the other side talk, and then demolish them. I loved that. I thought it was great. So, yeah. Great.
Thank you so very much, Mark. Welcome on board the panel, and I couldn't agree more. I thought... that Matt kept his composure. I know sometimes he gets flack because the theists or Christians will say he's our version of a Darth Dawkins. But after going through many hours and hours and hours of almost both individuals, for better or worse, Matt really isn't. What happens is Matt tends to be very calm and practical. And then I think he just has a boiling point where it's hard to get him to cool back down. But I don't think it's different than someone who's a bad faith interlocutor who goes into the conversation trying to...
I thought he was going to reach boiling point when Stuart sort of said, hey, you think that you want an Armageddon, you want an apocalypse, you want the judgment day.
You want the judgment day,
Yeah, like that's something that sort of slipped my mind. I wanted to bring that up. Like, if you are telling people what they think, you're being an ass, quite frankly. Like seriously, if you're saying, hey, this is what you believe, let people speak for themselves. It's sort of a lack of respect for people if you're saying, it'd be like an atheist saying, hey, you don't really believe in God, you're just pretending, kind of thing. It's not right.
I mean,
no, so I
would say no.
Sorry?
Like I would say no. We're not looking forward to a judgment day. I don't think that any human ever deserves to go and burn in hell forever. The worst human being imaginable does not deserve to be tortured forever. That is far in excess of what would be warranted.
And all right, I just want to take a short sentence. Whether you want to do PayPal, whether you want to do super chats, I'm just kidding. I love so much love, Stupid Horror Energy.
We love you.
Thanks, Stupid.
Continue, Mark.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I just think that, sort of anybody trying to tell somebody else what they think is just, it's arrogant, it's egotistical. I'm sure Stuart didn't mean it that way, and he sounded a bit lighthearted, but I have to commend Matt for not just because it is disrespectful. Yeah, for blowing up. I'm just sort of saying, hey, you don't know what I'm thinking. And I love that he turned it around to say, hey, if your God can tell you what I'm thinking, then what number am I thinking of? You obviously don't know. You obviously don't know. And you can't demonstrate that you do. You're just making a claim that you can't substantiate. And that's all. But yeah, I'll get the rest of the people.
Thank you so very much, Mark. And sending love to everyone out there, including Stupid Horror Energy and everyone, Skywatcher, Carol the Atheist, and Patient Null Ember. And speaking of base theory, and ba-da-ba-bum-bum. Ba-dum-ba-bum. Base Theory, welcome on board. We are Midnight Ranting on Is Christianity Rational? And what are your thoughts about the debate, the topic, or anything we talk about tonight?
Yeah, hey all. Sorry, I don't have my normal setup. I'm out of the country right now, so I don't have the camera or anything, but hopefully the audio is coming in clear. Yeah, I watched tonight's debate. It was a topic that I hadn't seen before, the rationality of Christianity rather than just like the existence of God or, some of the debates we've seen before. So I was interested in that. I think Matt did a phenomenal job. Honestly, at times I kind of felt bad for Stuart almost because it was like he really didn't have anything and Matt was just shutting him down so completely. He kept trying to pivot and Matt was just kind of holding his feet to the fire saying, hey, like the topic is the rationality of Christianity. And he kept trying to bring up all these different topics, like asking about Matt's worldview or, he brought up very numerous amounts of dodges to try to talk about anything else other than the rationality of Christianity because, Matt kind of clearly demonstrated, I thought at least, that it's not rational to believe something without evidence. So the fact that, they kind of both agreed that Stuart was not going to be able to provide evidence, then that seemed like the end of the debate. The debate ended, in my eyes, very, very early. It was interesting to hear them go back and forth on all their questions, and they definitely brought up a lot of topics, but kind of similar. This was my first debate seeing Stuart, so I can't speak like Mark was saying about how maybe this was just an off night for him, but I kind of felt bad watching.
He goes up usually with his dad, Cliff. His dad is a pastor, so they usually do two be together, but yeah, this time.
Also, I've been wanting to make a Cliff Bar joke for a long time, and so I'm sending that out there. Continue, Critical Base.
So I think that what everyone in the comments is wanting to hear is because I forgot how this brought up in the live chat there, but I brought up the fact that basically Standing for Truth has admitted to me that the evidence clearly demonstrates evolution is true and creationism is not, and he's saying that he's basically in it because it's his it's how he makes money, it's his livelihood, it's his business. So yeah, so people have been asking me to play the audio, so I thought I've got it on my phone here, so hopefully it comes through clearly, but I'll just play that part so people can hear. Let me know if you guys can hear this.
Oh my,
that's a good point. Evolution is true, creation's false. You know, we're invested. This is our job, defending creation. So we're just going to have to be closet evolutionists from here on out, unfortunately.
So I'll play that again just in case. I don't know how clear that audio is. I've got my phone volume turned all the way up, but just because it's kind of, I couldn't believe he said it. I literally respond. This was in like private messages because I like debating SFT. I mean, he actually like reads scientific papers and tries to come up with some kind of, you know, I mean, he does his homework.
Before you play it again, and that sounds good to me, but the context is he is having a conversation with just a back and forth, and this is almost like we've finally come to the realization, or he's finally came a little bit cornered on this. I guess any other context?
I mean, to me, it sounds like, is it like a quote mine? Like he's parroting our position. He's saying what we would say about him, not that he's confessing. I don't know. Yeah.
So at the beginning, he said that's a good point. So I'll give the context. We were talking about specifically like mitochondrial Eve and like the coalescence of how you get like a consensus sequence for mitochondrial Eve. And I mean, SFT and I talk a lot, and I like bring up numerous lines of evidence like to show him. So I mean, we go back and forth like often in DMs. So it's kind of, I mean, I can try to find. I just got it recorded here, so I don't have the Messenger app open to like look at the previous. But I remember we were talking about like essentially like the science of coalescence and population genetics. But there's numerous lines of evidence that I've spoken back and forth with SFT on. But yeah, at the end of that comment, he just said, and it was unclear to me if he's being sarcastic or not. Like I couldn't tell if that was coming through. My response,
where I would lean.
My response was literally, he just said the quiet part out loud, and then he responded, "What do you mean? What did I say?" I'm like, "What?" So I don't know. I mean, maybe it's lost in translation, and I'm not understanding what he's saying, but. I mean, I was actually very shocked when he said that in response. So that's why I recorded it.
You want to play it one more time so we can?
Yeah. So we'll just listen to the whole thing because it ends when he says he's a closeted evolutionist. Here we go. I'll play it once more. It's like only 12 seconds.
Yeah, it's a good point. Evolution is true. Creation's false. But, we're invested. This is our job, defending creation. So we're just going to have to be closet evolutionists from here on out, unfortunately.
Yeah, so there you go. There's the infamous audio that everyone in the live chat has been asking for. I hope it was worth it.
Hey, and so we'll keep on going down because I know Disciple probably, and maybe even Ultimated, will say something on it. I mean, this is the thing that James and I joke about all the time because we think that numerous apologists are in it for either, I would say, some other motive. Either they are in it for money, they are in it for fame, they are in it for something that doesn't rhyme with Jeebus. And so it also kind of gives a sunk cost because if you're only, it's why places like the, not just freedom from religion. Gosh, I'm trying to remember, recovering from religion, and also the Clergy Project are so important because, I mean, if this does become your livelihood, and like halfway in between you get convinced otherwise, what do you do? And so I guess I'm sympathetic towards both positions. It was actually hard for me to tell. I could see that pushed in either direction. Him being saying that actually is the case and he just muscles through it, or him being sarcastic. It's hard for me to tell.
I would definitely need to see the context.
But okay, we're gonna. Oh no, Base. We'll let you have one last word, and then we're gonna bring in Ultimate.
At first, it sounded sarcastic to me when he was saying evolution is true, creation is false. But then when he started talking about how we're invested, and that honestly did not sound like sarcasm to me. So I don't know. I still don't know how to interpret it.
And all right, on that note, we're gonna just send love. I see out there, Snake was right. X Music, The Freak, Peebo, Coffee Bomb, Germany, Jake, all sorts of amazing people. We're gonna bring on Ultimated. Stephanie sending love out there too. Ultimated. We are having a midnight ranting on is Christianity rational? I hope you're doing good. And what are your thoughts about the debate, the topic, or anything we've been talking about tonight?
Yes, thanks for having me on. I have not listened to the debate. Firstly, this is Ultimated Judeo-Christian YouTuber with a YouTube channel, Ultimated Judeo-Christian. Just before I continue, I did private message you, Amy. Do you want this interaction posted on a separate video or part of a group video in regards to my youtube.com channel?
If you're talking about the debate, it's going to be its own Debate Me Brah, and it's going to have your name and the subject and all of that stuff.
I'm talking about this interaction now.
This interaction now, as in how do you want what posted?
Do you want this interaction posted as a separate video or part of a group video of 9+ hours long?
Oh my. Whatever you would like, Ultimated. You can do one, the other, or both. However you would like to market it. You can always use any of the content that we have on here is free to share.
Okay,
Anyway,
you may change your mind.
Yeah, okay. That is a weirdly elusive. I know that was. Oh, you'll regret that decision. Okay. Still love you, Ultimated, but and I also see. Actually, before we go into that, I will just say, I just because of the super chat, I do want to get Base Theory. Are you still there?
Yes, I am.
I just want you to actually read and answer this, and then we're going to I'll recircle it back to you, Ultimate. We'll give like a reset, and you'll get the full attention. We'll go right back to it. But Base Theory.
Just firstly, I'm not a troll. I'm not a troll to those who are saying that in the YouTube channel or YouTube chat.
And hey, Ultimated, we love you on here, so that's okay. Dennis Hoven. The Denisovian for $5 wants to know Base Theory. When Base Theory eats a strawberry, is it cannibalism?
Well, okay, so I can't tell if Dennis is a troll or not, but he asked me before if I was related to a strawberry, and I told him that yes, I am on my mother's side as a joke.
Gotcha.
And then yeah, so I don't know if he actually thinks that I think that my mom is part strawberry or not, but I'm just going to go ahead and say, yes, eating a strawberry is cannibalism.
Well, the thing they always try and bring up is they're like, you're related to a banana, and it's like, yeah, but like the banana is like an organ. Like you're looking at like what would be like, I hate to say this, but you're looking and pointing to like a vagina and being like, are you a vagina? It's like, well, no, that's not how that works. But we are like, if you take the banana plant and compare it to the human, then yes, that's more of like a complete organism versus a complete organism.
If anybody wanted, I did pull up the actual messages, not just like the recording on my phone. So I can like read.
Share your screen.
The message that it's still on my phone. It's just in Facebook messages, but I can read. Like the comment that Standing for Truth was responding to about coalescence. I mean, it's kind of it's like a paragraph about population genetics. I don't know how interested people are in that, but I can read it.
Sure.
Okay, so like he was responding to the comment that like coalescence does not rely on random mating, so it will happen with random mating or not. For coalescence to follow the 4N generations.
Yeah, sorry to interject. I thought I was getting more than a minute of my opener. I was asking a quick question in regards before I continue.
I was just waiting for him to finish. This is still, I guess, the continuation
We'll come back to you.
of that.
We'll come back
But
to
as
you,
soon-
Ultimated. Make sure you get your time.
And normally I would have not interrupted you, Ultimated, but the person who wanted to make sure that the person who sent in the super chat wanted to make sure that it was actually read out loud. So I just wanted to cover both bases. So I'm trying, but yes, based, I guess. Well, and let me ask, how much longer is it? We're just going to read.
I mean, we were like maybe halfway through. It doesn't really matter.
All right.
It's pretty technical. I don't know if people are interested or not, but I'm just like, for context, I'm just providing that was the comment to which he was responding.
And all right, with that, and we'll keep on talking about it with the open panel, but just wanted to make sure we covered that base, and I'll give you a thank you based, and we'll just reset for this. Ultimated Jado, we are Midnight Ranting. We are talking about, is Christianity rational? The debate between Stuart Connectley versus Matt Dillahunty. I hope you're doing well. And what are your thoughts about said debate, the topic, or anything to talk about tonight?
Yes, I have not listened to the debates. I may in the future. Christianity / Judeo-Christianity is rational, as God exists, entailing his authorization of the Bible / biblicalism. So to summarize that, everybody knows God exists. However, in the case of our Judeo-Christian God, everyone would indirectly or directly know that he exists, depending on their knowledge of the Bible. So I'm happy to debate all three of you or all four of you at once with my ultimative categorical syllogism proving Judeo-Christian / biblical presuppositionalism. So premise 1, God biblically / awesomely ultimates truthful love. And just as I continue, you can follow along the ultimative categorical syllogism through the about page of my youtube.com channel. So to go back to syllogism, premise 1, God biblically / awesomely ultimates truthful love. Premise 2, God authorized the Bible / biblicism. Conclusion, thus Judeo-Christian / biblical presuppositionalism follows. So premise 1 backs sacred theology / revealed theology, the creator-creature distinction, perfect being theology, ultimate / brute facts, and God's prescriptive laws of logic / thought. Premise 2 backs special revelation, evidentialism / epistemic foundationalism. The conclusion backs the law of rational inference. So to justify premise 1, and you can interrupt me at any time, as this is my opener. So
can you handle that?
Proving
Wait,
premise 1.
I can interrupt you at any time. I can interrupt you now.
So long it's engaging the syllogism.
Okay, so I reject premise 1 of your syllogism as being a begging the question. You haven't demonstrated that God actually exists, so you basically have ignored that to put it into premise 1. So I reject that completely.
You just reference God with the pronoun I because you are a creature. Don't interrupt me. Don't interrupt me. You're on the hot seat. You have to respond. Stop interrupting me. Because you reference God with the pronoun I, as you are a creature / a temporality contingent on God, as he is ultimate truthful love, backing the creator-creature distinction as mentioned earlier. So to justify the creator-creature distinction more thoroughly, God's biblically / awesomely ultimate truthful love through sacred theology / revealed theology, dichotomously backing the creator-creature distinction. Deuteronomy 29:29, 1 Corinthians 2:7-12, Psalms 19:1-4, Romans 1:17-20, Romans 2:14-15, and 2 Peter 3:9 biblically. More basically, God defaultly involves the lovingness for fatherhood. Thus, he embodied conscious creatures with sacred theology / divine revelation. Even more basically, ontotheology / agape theism connaturally entails a benevolence for fathership. Therefore, God actualized mindful temporalities with sacred theology / general revelation. Again, even more basically, biblically / awesomely, one absolute eternal mind / omniscience defaultly is absolutely.
We're gonna give you about another
Yeah,
minute,
see, this is
then we got to
gish
get more
gallop.
people in because
This is just
going.
gish gallop.
Yeah.
Like
It's not a
seriously.
Could be here.
It
It's not a
absolutely is a gish gallop. So
It's not.
agape being love,
because-
you have
hang
not
on.
determined that God is love in any way. You again
Hang on.
mentioned sort of general revelation, which you have not demonstrated in any way. You're basically saying that God is absolute and eternal, which you have not even demonstrated the God, much less that it is absolute and eternal. You have made no demonstration of any of the things that you have just attested to. You have just asserted them with no demonstration whatsoever that they are in fact true.
There's 4 points there. I'm taking notes as you're responding to my response. I've got 4 points here.
Well, that was
First,
just the
it
ones
was not
I
a-
could
stop
catch out of
interrupting
that
me.
massive gish gallop. It was just a gish
It's not a
gallop.
gish gallop. It's not a
It
gish gallop
100%
because
is,
if you were actually listening, I said at the start of every sentence, the majority of the sentence is more basically. So I'm simplifying the first sentence 3 times. So again, I said God's biblically / ultimate truthful love.
Okay,
XYZ.
stop there.
And then,
That's your first point.
No, you
Stop,
gish
that's your
gallop.
first point. No, that's your first
other
point.
points.
So
You gish gallop.
can you demonstrate
gallop.
that God has in fact is the origin of love?
Yes, because if you were actually listening, I
Well,
already
don't go to
stated
more
this.
basically. Demonstrate God is the origin of love.
I will just repeat what I said
And then
earlier.
we'll have to get
so you
somebody
need to
else on.
summarize.
Well,
You
no.
need to summarize.
To demonstrate
You have to
that God
hang on.
is
Stop
the
interrupting
origin
me.
of love.
You've asked me to justify God's lovingness.
Yes.
You have. I've already stated this, so you have to summarize this justification. So it is
I don't
one
have to
sentence.
do anything. I'm
Yes, you
still
do, because
waiting for you to
I'm just repeating
justify
myself.
your assertion that
I
God is the
am.
origin
It's
of
not
love.
just an assertion. So you're just gish galloping. I can't
Alright, guys.
assert.
Asserted it.
Okay,
It may
I
be
want
true,
to
or
address
you've
your
never
argument,
asserted.
but I'm going to do it in a little bit, Ultimated. Welcome to the panel.
We have to
Just,
get everybody in the panel.
exactly.
The same
Sit back here
nothing
with
as
us, and
usual.
we're going to go into open conversation soon. So we got Leo, Disciple Day, P-Town, and Dennis. And so, hey, it's going to be a good mix of atheists and theists by the end of
that's
this.
good.
But welcome to the Girl Deck Ultimated. And Leo Felius, we are Midnight Ranting on Is Christianity Rational? We are talking about the debate, the topic, or anything you would like. What's your thoughts?
Well, so I did watch the debate, or at least think back when I stopped back in. What?
Oh, no, your camera froze for a second. Now you're
It cut
back.
out for
Oh,
about
okay.
5 seconds.
Oh, okay. So I did watch most of the debate. I think I left probably like somewhere around 5-ish minutes, just guessing, from the Q&A. Is Christianity rational? No, but that's not because it's either irrational or irrational. Well, I guess in a sense it would be irrational. I'm not much a fan for these discussions on the topic of, well, is Christianity rational? Is atheism rational? Because it misunderstands the concept of rationality. Rationality is a thing that applies to agents. Agents either can be rational or irrational with respect to their actions, their behaviors, their aims, things of that nature. Positions, models, hypotheses, theories, ideologies. These things aren't rational or irrational. Your belief in them can be. It can be rational to either believe or disbelieve something, depending on, how that aligns with the aims that an agent has. But Christianity is not rational for the same reason that atheism is not rational. Because positions aren't rational, which if you take atheism to be a lack of a position rather than a position not, then it wouldn't be rational, even if I were wrong with what I'm saying, because there isn't anything there to be rational under that definition, but tabling that for now. So, yeah, it gets these debate topics get a little confusing because, again, positions aren't rational. Your belief in some position can be rational or irrational, but that to a person's aims. So, with respect to the debate, I don't really think it seemed to me to be more debate along the lines of, is Christianity true, or is there evidence or good evidence for Christianity, rather than it being, is Christianity rational? Because again, I don't understand what that really even means, but it didn't seem that either. I mean, I think Matt performed well in the debate. I think the points that he was making, the things that he was saying were good points to make. But I don't think that's. He was kind of more responding to Stewart, which he should have been, and Stewart was kind of just like preaching the whole time. So, there wasn't much meat with respect to the topic. But then again, the particular thesis of that debate isn't, in my mind, a very meaningful question to begin with. I guess I'll leave it there.
I have
a little, like, I think that even though it's sort of a, I get what you mean, that technically it sort of doesn't make sense. I think you can sort of just take it as, is belief in Christianity rational? And I sort of get
that's what I would
say.
Well,
Yeah.
and I want to ask this to Leo, but also any of the skeptics, and then we'll go on to Disciple Day. Do you think they know when they're preaching? Do you think they know when they're not giving arguments and they're just saying God loves you? And
it depends on the context. I think that there are instances where they don't realize it, and then there are instances where I think that at least at some point they end up realizing it if they don't the whole time. Because when they start dodging questions and dodging points and objections and things like that you're offering, you can't dodge questions and dodge points if you're not tracking the discussion to some extent. Like, how that doesn't make sense. How can you wouldn't know to dodge a question if you weren't tracking the discussion to know that the point that was just made is detrimental to your position, which is what leads you to dodge it. So when they start dodging, it's because they're getting up to speed and they're realizing that it's not really looking good for them. But there are instances where I think that, yeah, there's they don't realize that they're preaching or something.
I think it's their safe place. It's kind of where they go when they feel under attack or threatened or cornered. They kind of fall back on preaching because that's what usually works in their church or their, wherever they've come from. Yeah, I think it's sort of almost like a defensive reaction rather than something they're doing intentionally. That's just my opinion, though.
And all right, thank you, Mark, for that response. And then Leo, for your opening and your opinion on that. I agree with you. I think it's kind of a mix of both and depends on the context. Also, what is up? Oh my, spicy, completely wrong. Well then, you're going to have to join us on the StreamYards, but welcome to the Twitchosphere Seguas GP. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. But Disciple Day. We are Midnight Ranting on Is Christianity Rational? I hope you're doing well. And what are your thoughts about the debate topic?
Just not trying to be rude. How long will you be streaming this, Amy?
Well, here's how this normally goes. If it's just a bunch of atheists and skeptics, agnostic and pagans, it generally doesn't. It's just a short amount of time. We're all having, we pat each other on the back, and then we go home. If there's people who disagree with us, probably a good 1 to 3 days. No, but generally speaking, we seem to, when we have interesting conversation, yeah, exactly. We go on for a few hours.
Okay.
We've got 4 more people to give their openings, and then we can go back to open discussion.
Yep. But Disciple Day. We are Midnight Ranting on Is Christianity Rational? And what's your thoughts?
Hi guys, thanks for letting me talk.
How you doing?
It's pretty good. I have to admit something. This is how slow I am sometimes. I didn't even realize until maybe the second guest in that we were actually talking about another debate that had already happened.
Indeed.
I thought it was just the topic of the night, and then all of a sudden someone's talking about another debate, and I'm going, oh, I didn't see any other debate. I didn't know there was. And
if I will say, that is, we kind of have a hand in both buckets. So I am part of the modern day debate community. And so I love to send love out there. And oftentimes they inspire us to do topics. But I also know that there's kind of our own skeptic and ranting community. And so I tend to reframe it after giving credit to the debate that the topic is just on whatever the topic was. And so even if you didn't see the debate, you could come in here fresh, and you all, if you'd like to see the debate, in the description below, sending love to James Coons and everyone over there. But we're just talking about, is Christianity rational?
Yeah. Well, I think one thing that, to me, that immediately stands out in my head is it's a hard question to answer to one degree, because what could be rational to one person might be irrational to another person, and with valid reason, right? So in other words, if I have information you have, or you have information I don't have, it could be rational for you to believe something and irrational for me to believe the same thing based on, right? So it's a challenging question, but I'll say this: my initial response to reading the question would be no. If is Christianity rational? But I interpret that as not a rational way to live versus not a rational belief. So, for example, it seems to be the idea of what Jesus was saying, and a lot of it, forgive me if I'm preaching. I'm not trying to preach, this is just what I know. So if, that Jesus gave, a famous sermon, and he would say things like, you've heard it was said, or it was taught, right? Love your neighbor, hate your enemy. He'd say something like that. Like, that's the rational way, guys, right? That's what he's saying. He's like, this is what makes sense. Love your neighbor and hate your enemy. He goes, but I tell you, and he tells them to live irrationally. He says, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. So he goes on to explain, like, if you love those who love you, that makes sense. Like, everyone does that, right? And so he kind of says, here's the way to be rational, but I'm not calling you to live rational. I'm calling you to live by a different standard. And that's ultimately, in the Christian faith, I believe, right, trusting God. So whatever God says is the idea. And obviously that's not rational. I really don't think it's rational to love your enemies. And I think that's ultimately the example that God sets, right? Because that's the idea there too. Because he also says, Paul writes this idea from Jesus. He says, very rarely would someone die for a good person, but you might, something like that. So he's like, listen, if there's a good person out there, he's not talking about family, he's just a good person you don't know, and they're better than you, let's say, in some sense, you might be willing to die for them. That makes sense. He says, but God demonstrated his love that while we were his enemies, like, he died for the bad people. And I'm not saying you have to believe that, okay? I'm just saying that's why I would say that the whole picture of what I believe, the idea is it's irrational. Like, it doesn't follow the pattern of the world, some good idea like that, right? It's transformative. And so I'd say, no, it's not rational in the sense of living it is certainly irrational. But again, now, is it irrational to believe it? And the idea ultimately is, like, believe in Jesus raising from the dead. Is that rational? And it's rational to me, like, based on my life experience and based on the way my view of the world, that just is what it is. It's my view of the world. It is rational. I mean, most people, myself included, don't walk around going, yeah, it's irrational, but I'll believe it anyway. Now, can I convince you it's rational? That's a whole other question, right? Because that's maybe even the bigger idea is not, is it rational to me, but can I convince someone else it's rational? And I think I really, and I talked about this so many times, I just believe it. Like, I believe the only way I'm ever going to possibly have a chance to convince you it's rational is by living my life in such a way that you look at my life and say, there must be something there. And you may say, well, I still believe Christianity is irrational, but at least when looking at his life, it benefited the world. And so the narrative lived out rationally. You see what I'm saying? Like boy, that played itself out beautifully. And I think, again, I get kind of a little confused at times when a lot of us Christians go in and try and say, hey, listen, look at this, because the Bible says that by creation you can see that God exists. Well, that's true. I'm not saying that's not true. I would believe that to be true. That's really not the position we were called to stand on. I believe we were called to stand on demonstrating what we believe to be God's love. I heard you talk maybe with someone about that earlier, Judeo-Christian or someone, like, what is that love, or is that really love? But again, for me, to demonstrate that love in such a way that it warrants consideration. And I think and all I can do is hope that that's true for my life, right? Is that I will live my life in such a way before you guys and other skeptics and non-believers. And again, I totally identify as a skeptic. When someone comes on and makes any kind of claim that is, I said earlier, the guy who, I forgot his name, but he was sharing that soundbite. And I go, hey, that soundbite sounds like he's saying doesn't really believe in evolution, but he just wants to make money off it. That's what it sounds like he's saying. But I'm skeptical, that's a big claim. That ends a guy's career I don't know who the guy is, that would be hard to imagine. He knew he was being recorded and said that. Maybe he did. And if he did, how could he be so foolish? Because he'd have to know it end his career. And if he didn't know it was recorded, not only is his integrity in question, but the integrity of the person recording him. So now you just have two people with questionable integrity. And I'm not saying it's what happened. I don't know. But anyway, so I'm ranting, but I guess that's the point of our channel here, right?
Indeed. This is a place to rant.
Bottom line is, on Christianity, is it rational? No, it's an irrational way to live. And it's supposed to look like irrational love. That's my belief. And I believe the love is well defined as far as I understand it, to lay down my life for others, to live a life of humble service, to not view myself more valuable than I am, but to consider others more valuable than myself. And yet to strive to also treat my body the best because it glorifies God. So all those things are played into it. But to convince you it's rational, again, if the idea is, can I convince you it's rational? My hope is that by the way I live my life, some people will look and say, that's worth investigating.
Woo-hoo. Thank you so very much, Disciple Day, and it's lovely to have you on the panel and speak about the subject.
Thank you. I'm a nobody, so anyone who lets me talk makes me feel quite privileged indeed. So thank you.
Oh no, what we call that is an Amy Newman exclusive.
There you go.
Thank you so very much, Disciple. Lovely to have you on the panel.
Thank you.
And all right, we're going to keep on going down. We got P-Town, P-Bo, and Stephanie, and then we're going to have a full girl deck tonight. I think that's going to be 10 people. So, P-Town, we are Midnight Ranting.
Who doesn't like a nice, big, thick, full girl deck?
That's kind of where my mind is most nights, actually. That's right. But P-Town, we are Midnight Ranting on Is Christianity Rational? What are your thoughts about the debate, the topic, or anything we've been talking about?
I thought the debate wasn't very good. I think the debate topic is flawed. Kind of favors Matt. Matt specializes in this. And I didn't think it was very fruitful. I believe that a rational person can come to know the truth, which is the Bible, which is the Word of God. Whether or not the Bible, Christianity is rational, it's rational. It can also be perceived as irrational. I don't really know what else to say other than those things. There's evidence. There's a lot of evidence for it. But ultimately, it's not just your rationality that God wants when it comes to discovering the truth.
Well, I'll read this question because anyone in chat can tag me at Amy Newman in YouTube or Amy Newman Skeptic on Twitch. And so Beamsy says the issue with the statement over is Christianity rational comes down to what can be rationalized as you see people rationalize communism when it's been shown to be a bad way of going about things. The question should be more, does religion need to be rationalized to be accepted as be rational? And I guess I'll say anyone can quickly comment about that, but then P-Town is going to have the final word on it. But P-Town, did you have anything?
In virtue of what is communism a bad way of going about things? That's what I'd be curious to know.
See, I knew you were gonna. That's why I said anyone on the panel.
Oh, we're supposed to comment on that?
Oh no, you can. It's just it was tagged to me, and I don't always read the comments once we start going into open chat mode or conversation, but I want to make sure I'm still doing that. So with that, I just want to say, P-Town, any final thought?
I don't know what Beamsy's point is in his last sentence. I don't know. I'm not tracking.
All right. With that, we're going to keep on going down. Peebo, we are talking Midnight Ranting. Is Christianity rational? We are talking the debate, the subject, or anything tonight. What's on your mind?
I've tripped into the thread, watching other things, doing other things. I don't know the context of what you're talking about with the debate because I didn't see it, so I'm in the other people's boat. And technically, I'm just here to interact with Ultimated because I think it'll be really interesting.
I think it would be a hot
like
threesome.
Leo's take,
I'm just going to put
Leo's
that out
take was
there.
really interesting, but I think he was more focusing on the definition of the word and not the actuality, not the doing of the thing, perhaps. But Leo can probably correct me if I'm wrong on that, which I probably am. G'day.
Thank you so very much, Peebo. It's lovely to have you on. And, you know, maybe we'll get into a Socratic gangbang later. Who knows how many people are going to be? I just want to put you and Ultimated in there. Anyway, hold on. Let me take a long drag of that cigarette. Okay, anyway, we're going on to Stephanie. We're going to have everyone on tonight. Stephanie, we are Midnight Ranting on Is Christianity Rational? Lovely to have you on. And what are your thoughts about the debate or just the topic in general?
Which Christianity would be my question. First of all, which Christianity? Which, you know, I don't want to wander too far, but I will. Which religion is rational? I mean, if it's rational for a Christian to believe that their rationality is demonstrated by the way they live their life, will they grant the same grace to a Hindu? Will they grant the same grace to a Buddhist who is living a Christian life without a belief in Jesus, the Son of God, the Redeemer of the world? It's, you know, where is there rationality in that belief, and irrationality in the belief in karma, in living a good life, in the merits of a good life? Where is the rationality there? So to me, it is irrational for Christians to not grant that grace. If you focus on the living of a good life, it's irrational to say the only way a life is justified and good is through belief in Jesus Christ. And in that sense, I think Christianity is irrational.
Woohoo! Thank you so very much, Stephanie. Couldn't agree more. And on that note, we are going into the open conversation, and we have a full girl deck tonight. So it is lovely to be Midnight Ranting on Christianity being rational. And the floor is all yours, ladies and gentlemen.
Grayson, have you talked to SFT?
Oh, he just
about
is
this?
blowing up my phone right now. Yeah.
Have you before bringing this
there was
out?
a lot of accusations put in my way.
Judeo, you're going to ruin a good stream.
Dude. Yeah, just chill. We'll get to it.
You said I am chill. I was assuming
Judeo,
that
you're going to ruin it.
syllogism.
Grayson, have you brought it up to him yet?
A topic. I'm assuming we're going back to the syllogism that I presented earlier.
Then,
No, we're really not.
Well, here's what I'll do. We're going to
Mark?
let's put a bow on the one topic, and then I promise you, Ultimated, that will allow us to fully concentrate on yours.
We're not going to be talking about.
I'll engage all of you at once. I'll engage every one of you all at once.
Settle down. We're talking about the standing for truth right now.
You're going to take all of us at once? Wow. That's I gotta admit, that's impressive.
All of us engaging at once is not going to be productive because there are 10 of us here.
I feel like we should kind of
need every one of your claims one at a time.
I feel like we should go in a line, and whoever has arthritis should be on the bottom. Anyway, okay, we're just giving 1 second, Ultimated, because it'll go back and forth. It'll be unclear for both. So let's put a bow on this. P-Tan, you were saying something, and then within a minute or two, let's ramp that subject up so we can go back. We'll syllogism all over the place.
Well, I'll just jump to it, but like my belief, Grayson, if you haven't personally brought this to SFT and talked to him about it, I think that it was wrong for you just to bring that out there like this. This is something that the Bible teaches. First, you talk to the person in private. If you have an issue there, you bring someone else to talk to them with you, and if there's still an issue, then you bring it public. So I just asking you, have you brought this to SFT to see if there was something mistaken behind it?
I responded at the time. You just said the quiet part out loud, and I asked for clarification. I didn't get any at the time, but literally, like as of 2 minutes ago, he's been blowing up my phone saying, "You turned out to be just like the rest of the atheists in your community. I would never dream of showing anybody's private conversations. What went through your little brain when you were literally thought doxing was okay?" So
he didn't
I get
what? He didn't dox. You didn't dox him, and that's interesting. He's watching this stream.
This is an awful lot of inside baseball.
I don't know that he's watched. Maybe somebody told him. I don't know.
And I just want to send love for standing for truth and all of it. If you would like to join, though, he can. I did not.
Send him a link.
I will say we did not know about this beforehand. It was not like a pre-thing, but yeah, we just bring the topics we just talk about topics.
He should be given an opportunity to explain that comment because he's been defending creationism for ages.
Sure. Well, I mean, this is the thing. Like I'll keep on saying it. It's the thing that James and I joke. We weren't targeting him, right? Then we just say. In fact, I think normally when we say that, we think of a specific Hovind. I don't know which one, but it must be. Yeah, it could be any other. But okay, unless anyone has something else to say about it.
I will add that he said, "I was obviously being sarcastic, and you're actually gullible enough to believe I was serious." So he has clarified, at least now. He's saying that he was being sarcastic.
Okay.
So there you go.
Okay, I just think, Grayson, it should have been something that you should have brought up to him first before going public with it. And I don't want to. I like you, Grayson, but I don't
think that's necessarily the case. I don't think that they would do the same for us. I really don't think so.
And on that note,
I disagree with you, Mark. I think that most Christians who know their Bible would.
Well, the funny thing is Mark is actually correct because Standing has actually revealed messages and private stuff before in email chains that I've been a part of. So Standing has already done the thing you're claiming you don't think he would do. So Mark is correct.
Slander if you're talking about somebody behind their back.
No, it's not slander to make factual statements about what somebody has done. That's not slander.
Evidence of, you don't know if he was being sarcastic or not.
Well, I wouldn't share the emails even if I did still have them because I wouldn't do that on a stream.
I just want Christians to actually read their Bible. That's what
nobody's slandering anybody.
Okay, and with that,
slander.
How is it slander?
We're going to instead switch topics because now it's kind of it's becoming a little meta on the thing that it was to begin with. So we love that. Love all of our panelists. Sending love to Standing for Truth and everyone out there. But ultimated, and hopefully it's not going to be a night. We can't spend 9 hours. However, I do like this type of thing, and so do you have something on your mind, ultimated? Not in your hand. That's a different question. I'm just kidding. I love you. But in your mind.
I'll just address the notes that I've got down here of the claims asserted towards me. So firstly, I can't assert God, as God is an ultimate fact, so I can't subjectively claim objective truth. And the second point, were you even listening? I said I can't assert God. God is an ultimate fact.
I'm listening. Please just go on, please.
Yes, this is why, Mark, you have
Settle
to
down.
paraphrase.
Present your
I
case.
am settled down. I am settled down. You need to stop interrupting me. This is why, Mark, you have to summarize my arguments because you're possibly not listening. So again, I can't assert God as God is an ultimate fact. So I can't make a subjective claim to objective
What is an ultimate
truth.
fact, though? What does that mean?
God.
Leo,
God,
let him
you
go.
need- you
Let
need-
him go because he's already feeling very defensive. Just please.
I don't
be
really
patient.
care. I'm just trying to
understand.
understand his
Stop making
position.
opinions.
It's a precept argument.
Just go. Just go. I'm
So there are
trying
two
to
other
understand,
points.
and it's like
No,
Yeah,
I
you
just you
possibly
used the
interrupted me. Hang
term,
on,
and I just don't know what you
hang
mean.
God is an ultimate
Grayson,
fact.
I
said
hope
that
you're talking to
twice. Pay
SFT right
attention,
now,
please.
and just call him right
again-
now and talk to him while you're
Hang on, why are
calling
you
him.
switching? Why are you switching back to topic? So again,
sorry.
there's two other
I'd
points.
really
isn't-
love to hear.
Hang on, stop
I'd really
interrupting me. Stop
personally,
interrupting me.
personally, all
Stop
y'all,
interrupting me. It's
personally,
my turn to finish.
I'd
It's
really
my
like
turn
to hear.
Oh,
finish.
Jesus
I am
Christ.
Yes, then
trying
you can
to
wait your turn. If you
advocate
want
for
to listen,
you.
if you want to listen, then wait your turn. I'm not trying to
We're all
be
listening.
rude.
We're all listening.
Premise
There
number
are
two.
two. So there are two other points, and then I'll go back to the premises. So the other 2 points is that agape theism. God is love as his ultimate perfection, entailing self-lovingness. Therefore, God is meta-ontological, omnibenevolent. The second point is that my justification for premise 1 in regards to the creator-creature distinction was not a gish gallop, as I presented one sentence and then I simplified that sentence over twice. So that's why I stated more basically, and then the following sentence even more basically. That's not a gish gallop. So going back to the ultimative categorical syllogism. So premise 1, God biblically / awesomely ultimate truth for love. Premise 2.
Hang on 1 second.
God...
Sorry. You've done the syllogism before. It's on your website. We can all go and read it. I don't think we have to go over it every single time you mention it.
You're not the only one here. I said I will address all of you who are against Judeo-Christianity.
Yeah,
so
but
I'll
it's
just
going to
repeat
get really
the syllogism.
old if every time you mention the syllogism.
okay,
I'll
you
be
repeat the
less than
syllogism.
20 seconds.
Well, you were on premise 2. I feel like there should be a conclusion about to be on the rise.
Yes,
Premise
I'll just
27.
repeat this. I'll repeat the syllogism as there are other people in this panel.
But you keep on going back to premise 1.
We're up to 2. Could you finish 2? That would be good.
Okay, so premise 2, God authorized the Bible / biblicalism, conclusion, thus Judeo-Christian / biblical presuppositionalism follows. So I've laid out justifications for each of those premises. When I went to justify premise 1 into more detail, I was interjected with claims. So again, God, by definition, is ultimate truthful love. Therefore, he is an ultimate fact. I can't assert that. God just is. So meta onto theology.
When do we get to ask questions?
Wait. You made a premise 2, and it sounds like you're making a premise 3 and 4 at this point.
No.
Okay.
Well,
okay. Well, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
I just want to understand. So, because I'm trying to understand what his argument here is. And I think what'll help. I think we all are. What'll help clear that up. Ultimated is what form does the argument take?
So, firstly, your question presupposes God because to identify.
I don't care. Sure, it presupposes God. Yeah, no, I'll grant that. No, I'll grant that. I just want to know what the form is.
Stop interrupting me. Stop interrupting me.
No. At this point, I will no longer be on your side.
At a time. Allow me to address one person at a time.
At this
Again,
point, well, perhaps, Leo, would you let me address?
I'm not the one talking.
Would you let me address this individual?
Wait your turn, please. I'll address you momentarily. I'm just addressing this person's question, and then I will address the next person. I'll be less than 20 seconds. So again, for you to identify a
Something
question you reference
extremely
God. Stop
dishonest in
interrupting me.
addressing that person.
I'm not being dishonest. So
Yes, you
I'll be less
are.
than 20. I'm not being dishonest. I'll be less than 20 seconds. So again, for you to identify a question, you reference God as he is ultimate truthful love.
Sure, I can grant that, but what form does the argument take?
So you just, again, if you have been listening, and if you have been reading my YouTube About page, if A isn't C, then B
I
isn't
haven't.
C.
That's why I'm asking you the question. What form does the argument take?
Your question presupposes God. So
That's great. I grant that. What form does the argument take?
So you just okay. So you presuppose premise one.
No,
so
no, I'm
premise
asking
two,
you a question. What form does the argument take? First off, is it a deductive argument or an inductive argument?
You just granted for you to identify deductive arguments. You reference
So
God
it's a
as his
deductive
ultimate
argument?
truthful love.
So it's a
Your
deductive
question
argument. Your argument's a deductive argument, right?
Your question presupposes God again.
That's great. Is your argument deductive? You're saying?
Stop interrupting me.
Well, no, because you keep rambling about things that aren't even remotely related to what I'm asking you.
I'm interrupting you both.
You granted me premise one.
I'm interrupted you both. Okay, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to give you 20 seconds, Ultimate. Please, no one interrupt him. Even when he says something you disagree with, don't interrupt him. But then at the end, I would like some back and forth with you, Ultimate. I'm going to give it over to all the skeptics after me for a long time. But you have 20 seconds, Ultimated. But at the end of that 20 seconds, I would like some back and forth between us. On your mark, get set, all yours.
Okay, so for you to ask a question, you reference God as he is ultimate truthful love for you to identify a question. So I'm not going to fall for any rabbit trails. So you did presuppose God and you granted me premise one. So that's why I was adamant to move on to premise two. So the next person.
Well, no, but that doesn't answer either of my two questions. What's the form of the argument, and is the argument deductive? Well, I don't think we should move past this, though. We shouldn't let him get an out to not answering this question.
I did. You just possibly don't.
No,
like
you
the
didn't.
answer.
Okay, so what form does the argument take if you answered the question? What's the form? What rule of inference does the argument use?
I've already addressed this.
What? Okay, answer it again. What rule of inference does the argument use?
So again, you just presuppose God.
I granted you that. What rule of inference does the argument use?
And then we can move on to premise two.
I'm not asking you about the premises. I'm asking you about the form. Do you know what the form of an argument is?
He's not going to be able to give an answer.
Your question just presupposes God again.
That's sure. That's fine. That's fine. Do you know what the form of an argument is? What does it mean to talk about the form of an argument?
For you to identify an argument, you reference God.
That's fine. Sure, I grant you that. What does it mean to talk about the form of an argument?
Then we can move on to premise two.
Yeah, Amy, we can move on to Amy because I don't think you understand the first thing about any of this.
That's just a claim.
He does.
But okay, Ultimated. Your first is that God biblically / awesomely is truthfulness and love. And
ultimate truthful love.
Ultimate truthful love. And almost that entire sentence I disagree with. Like, I don't think that God is awesome. I don't think that God ends up being very...
Can I just clarify something with that first premise? It doesn't
it doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't say that God is ultimate truthful love. He is referencing God's ultimate truthful love. He's already established that as a thing. So that's why he's begging the question, because he hasn't actually demonstrated.
Again, for you to identify questions, you reference God.
If I could just finish,
no.
That's great.
I'm just refuting your claims. It is true.
That's not true.
You just reference God. For you to say something is untrue, you reference.
In other
God
words, for me to open my mouth is to reference God. Is that correct?
Even if I am
because to identify your creatureliness, you reference God.
Hang on.
The pronoun I presupposes
God.
Hang on.
Like, you had a long time to talk.
I don't understand. Please, if you could please answer just this one thing. What is something I could say that does not reference God?
Again, your question presupposes God. I said this to the other.
So in other words, there's nothing I could possibly
You need to give me more. You need to give me more time to respond, please.
So there's nothing I could possibly say that wouldn't reference God in this conversation.
That's right,
correct?
That's right.
Yes. He's going to say that the basis of language.
In which case, why are we having this conversation?
Well, he's a presuppositionalist apologist. He's going to say that the foundation of a language, being, like logic and things like that, are going to be rooted in God. They're sustained by God. Identity is sustained by God.
I hope to demonstrate to those watching that is an absolutely ridiculous, and I agree, Leo. So when you say what's the form of the argument, I'm trying to cut it down into simple terms because I'm a simple old sailmaker. It's like I
said absolutely. So you're referencing God as he is absolute.
That's fine. Sure.
I am not. You
just did again. The pronoun I presupposes God.
I just want to. Okay, please just let me have a few questions with him, please. I just want to have a back and forth.
Then
I will hand it over to everybody.
He has wasted so much time of so many people.
I'm getting interrupted.
Like seriously, it is
refusing to engage.
Okay, don't poison the well. Address the argument.
Okay, so God biblically /awesomely is truthful love.
That's not what it says. He's referencing the truthful love that he believes God has.
It's not just a believe. Don't twist my words, Fangs. God is an ultimate fact.
God biblically awesomely is the ultimate truthful love. Okay.
Yes, I'll repeat premise one.
No, I don't want you to repeat.
Oh no, please don't.
Do not. Please don't. I want you to go through. I do not believe that God exists. He's not only not a brute fact.
God.
Okay, but that statement just
references God.
That would be like me just saying that statement presupposes God doesn't exist. How would you defend that
presuppose God when you say
but that
he
statement
exist,
presupposes
God.
But that statement presupposes that God
doesn't. You can say that over and over and over again, but it's not the truth.
Hang on, you just presuppose God because he is ultimate truthful love. So again, when you say X doesn't exist, you're presupposing X. And exist is a verb. A verb is a doing word. So all you're saying is God doesn't do things. However, God does do things definitionally as he is personal and has revealed himself to
Existence
us.
isn't understood as an action, by the way.
Existence is a noun. I referenced the verb exist. Please try to...
you keep on interrupting when I try to make a statement. So please, let's try and go through this. We're on premise 1. You are trying to prove that God is awesome and is this ultimated truthful love. Referencing a self, by the way, doesn't reference a God, because in our view, God is contingent on us to exist. And so it's just when we reference myself or I, we're referencing ourselves. It has nothing to do with a God, and it doesn't have anything to do with Yahweh being a real entity.
So you're making a contradiction. Again, God is ultimate truthful love. What I mean by ultimate is that God is absolute, eternal, and revelatory. What I mean by absolute is God is singular, or in other words, infinite in size defaultly. So what I mean by infinite in size is that God represents the number 1.
So
you are describing characteristics.
Amy, just one thing.
Sure.
At some point, I would like to talk to Disciple Day and maybe have a productive conversation about
possibly dodging.
Sure. My problem is he actually gains to his benefit if we take him down even good Socratic methods, just separate ones. So but I want to give all of us time because you all have good methodologies. So my question would be, why do you think that a God exists?
It's not a matter of my opinion. God does exist as he is ultimate truthful love. So to further justify God's absoluteness through meta-ontology, the adjectival noun absolute states a biblically /awesomely permanent non-physical mind as life / libertarian free will is singular through... Hang on. There's somebody laughing, I think.
Yeah,
I'm just
I
reading
mean,
it.
what are you going to say next? That we're going to go through the quantum realm with Ant-Man?
I'm just reading one sentence. I'm just reading one sentence. This is 32 words. So meta ontologically. It is a sentence. Is not a sentence. So meta, yes, it is. There's no.
Well, if it's a sentence, it's a run-on sentence.
Let's not count the number of words on the head of a sentence. Okay.
True.
So a sentence can be sometimes 50. A sentence can be sometimes 50 words long.
No.
So yes, it is. Yes.
No.
Let him get to the end of the sentence.
I read a lot of books. I read a lot of books.
Oh, I bet you have.
So
it's
meta,
really
meta. Hang on. It's. Just give me one sentence. That's all I'm asking for. 32 words. Try to save your questions till after this. Okay. So meta ontotheologically, the adjectival noun absolute states a biblically / awesomely permanent non-physical mind as life / libertarian free will is singular through the law and spiritual law of cause and effect.
I'm too fucking high for this shit. Oh my god!
And I'm not high enough.
Hang on. I'm just referencing. I'm almost finished. www.newworldencyclopedia.org. So you can type in absolute in there.
www.slapahole.com.
But ultimatum.
Possibly dodging. You have.
I know this is going to go back into
laid out any barriers.
the exact same rabbit trail,
Yes,
so I'm going to read the super chat after. But I do have to. There is two propositions, okay? That God is the ultimate truthful love, and then there is my proposition. God is not the ultimate truthful love. How do
what
we
does
know
that mean?
which one of us is true?
Yeah, but what does that even mean, though?
Hang on.
Well,
I'll
it's still a
address
true
this.
dichotomy,
That was
Leo.
to me.
Just, you know.
Is
it though?
You've just contradicted yourself because God, by definition, is ultimate truthful love. I've already justified
Have you
God's
ever read
absoluteness.
the Torah?
Yes, that's premise 2. If you want to talk about the Bible, that's premise 2. We are on premise 1.
Why
we
he's
can
not,
move on
no,
to premise
no.
two.
We're on premise 1.
God,
we kind of need to take them one at a time.
Well, I want to know why referencing God automatically acknowledges premise 1.
Thank you, Freak. Appreciate the support.
I'll explain this again. I've maybe explained this 3 times, so you have to summarize this, Mark. So you're on the hot seat. Pay attention, please.
Yeah, Mark.
So this is one
Don't knock the
paragraph.
accent.
So God's biblically / awesomely ultimate truthful love through sacred theology / revealed theology.
Slow down. I want to break this down. No. Slow down. No one can follow what you're saying if you go too far. So you basically said
only
God.
speak for yourself. I'll just copy and paste it into the private chat so you can follow along as I'm reading it word for word off the private chat. It's a paragraph, so follow along.
Okay. It's a script. Oh, it's a paragraph. No, it's a script. It's a paragraph. No, God's ultimate love. No, God's this.
Whatever it is, it doesn't make any sense.
You couldn't finish the sentence because you weren't making sense. So God's biblically
paragraph.
No, you're the one not making sense.
Allow me to respond. Allow me to respond.
Creator-creature is not a true dichotomy.
It is because God is ultimate.
If I name something that is not a creator nor a creature, will you acknowledge that it's not a true dichotomy?
You can't. I'm calling out your bluff.
A chair.
A chair would be a temporality. A creature is a label to a temporality.
No, it's
not. It is a true yes, it is. It's a true dichotomy.
What,
God
say that again?
Or not God?
Hang on. A chair is a temporality. Okay.
Yes, a chair is a contingency.
That's not any
cusps.
definition of creature either. What do you mean by what's your definition of creature?
That's interesting.
Is this like a contingency argument? I was trying to do the opposite version, but I didn't think you'd actually do theology.
This is primarily on presuppositionalism. As everybody knows, an ultimate perfect being exists. However, we have to be taught.
As everybody knows, that's rather presumptuous, isn't it?
However, we have to be taught of the proper noun God. So we know defaultly that we are a temporality contingent on God.
There's not enough acid in the universe to make this.
You just reference God for you to point out a contradiction. You
because
presuppose
he just
ultimate
thinks
truth
that
for
you
love.
already believe in God.
No,
It's
I
madness.
don't presuppose.
You know,
I know,
God
I
exists.
get it. It's
Depending
just,
on
but
your
this is why
knowledge
it's
of the proper
pointless.
noun God.
Don't.
I've been saying that
You
for
can
ages
back
now.
out.
Is
You
a
can back
description.
out. You're not forced to stay here. So
Well, you don't
No,
answer
I
any
know
of
I'm
our
not forced to
questions.
stay here,
I
but you
have
know,
That's
answered
not
neither
true.
are
You
you.
are
But
all
why are
forced
you
to
here?
stay here.
Nobody's going to agree with this. This is completely bullshit.
you can't speak on behalf of other people. Try to
No, it is
refrain from
bullshit.
bringing
It's
other
No,
people.
it's
Well, it's
definitely
bullshit. I
bullshit.
believe I'm
Absolutely
speaking
right.
on behalf of
I'm
at
still
least three
Just-
people in the
She
room.
can
It's
speak on
completely
behalf of
boring.
me,
It's
still
right?
trying to
complete
get.
It is
I'm
garbage.
still
bullshit.
trying to
It's a
get through the
terrible argument.
paragraph.
Ultimated.
You've asked
Just
me.
a point.
Hey,
Just a
I'll
point.
be.
Though.
I'll
Asked
be
us
10
to,
seconds.
you've
I'll
asked
be
us to go
10
to a
seconds.
website and read along while you read the fucking
I
paragraph. It's
know.
like
I said.
Jesus
Can
Christ.
I
Ultimated.
just say, this is
I
a
didn't say to read
representative
off
of
a paragraph.
Christianity. I don't know
Give me
how
10
Christians
seconds,
feel about this,
please.
but
Give me 10
like,
seconds,
this
please.
is
You
your
say that, but then it
representative
goes a lot
Talking on
longer
behalf
than.
of other people. You have to speak on behalf of yourself.
No,
Just
I'm
as
speaking
Ultimated.
on behalf
Christians,
of
that
God,
this is the
according
Hang
to
person
on,
you.
give me
representing
10
them.
seconds, please. I'm responding to Mark as he
No,
wanted
nine,
me
Had
to
fucking
justify
45
You've
minutes
had
of
seven,
created
all
creature
garbage.
distinction. I will address
Five,
this and
four,
then the next person.
3, 2, 1.
That's
Okay, you
on
had your 10 seconds.
after.
Anybody else?
Yeah.
Anybody else?
You were interrupting. I was waiting for Mark to respond. Allow him to respond.
You guys, I just want to say
Him or her.
thank you, Ultimated. I think I'm a Christian now. I totally get it.
Exactly. Praise Jesus. And actually, on that note, I do have to send love to Disciple Day, who's sending us $5. Is Ultimated a real known apologist?
No.
We're still trying to figure out the first part.
No.
But yes, but
No,
I mean,
you're
he
not.
said so much love.
Yes, I am.
No, you're
not
not.
trying to be rude.
Yes, I am.
Forgive me.
No,
but you seem like
yes,
a
I
character.
am. It's so easy to refute the
Yeah,
claim.
sure, yeah.
But wait.
He's a
Ultimated.
troll. He is a dedicated one.
I'm not a troll.
I don't want to go off into rabbit trails, but I do want to go off into like orifices, and so I just want to ask to reiterate.
Rabbit orifices?
Hopefully not.
Podcast.
Yeah. But you do have a more than just a personal relationship. You are actually God's best friend, and you are in a sexual relationship with God.
With benefits. Yeah.
Yes, God is touching the left side of my head right now. God and I go through the motions of sex. So this has been going on for over 2 years. I am God's best friend, hence my username, Ultimate.
Which one of you tops? Does God top or do you
I
top?
think they switch.
It goes both ways.
Oh, so you both
That's
top.
That's a different topic. We can.
So what's it
talk
like
about that
fucking
after.
God? Is it great?
We can talk about that after.
I think God's a bad
No, I
guy.
want to talk about it right now.
Ageism.
I want to talk about it right
I
now.
want to write a book
have
about it.
What better time?
You have to admit to God's existence first, so I can drop this debate mentality, as there are multiple people.
Yeah, let's get
within
more
this
comfortable.
panel.
Get into something more cozy. Have a
Yeah,
conversation.
go get your bathrobe on.
Exactly. We're all just friends here.
What are we doing here? Like,
We can all have an
seriously.
orgy
Go get
with
your
God
shroud
because
on.
God is omnipotent. So like he can make us all like mentally fuck him and each other at the same time. It could be great. It could be a great time, right, guys?
Let's try to
100% it can be.
And see, the thing is that Ultimated, you know that I worship the potato monster. You know that. Because that's been told to you before.
A monster can't be God by
I'm sorry.
definition.
That
I've already
statement
explained this to
presupposes
you.
the potato. That presupposes
Give
the
me
potato,
time
so
to
you believe in the
respond.
potato. Well, it's
A
just
monster.
that sentence.
You know what your
Interrupt
potato
me.
presupposes, Mark? Your
Stop
potato
interrupting
presupposes
me.
the coin in my left pocket.
How dare you?
A monster is a definition to a temporality.
No, it's not. It's defined as like the ultimate
So is your
power in the universe.
use of the word
That's what it's
God,
called.
though, Ultimated.
God
No, it
is
is.
ultimate truthful
See,
love.
but by saying that, you're
omnipotent.
presupposing the potato.
No, a potato is a label to a temporality, a
No,
contingency.
it's not. It's the created the universe. It's a.
That's exactly right, Ultimated. But the coin in my left pocket is
Alright.
not.
If I don't know if
That
there's
can't
anybody
create
who's
more of
actually
itself.
sincere
Of course not. This is hilarious.
This is
completely
honest
ridiculous.
argument.
Stop
Like,
trying
as
to
soon as
poison the
before,
well.
sorry.
Address the message.
I'm not
Don't
poisoning
address
the
the
well.
message.
You're
says,
throwing
Attack
potatoes
the
at
message,
well.
not the
You
messenger.
believe
You're
what I
possibly
And you've
trying to
got God,
derail by
and
making
you've got
personal.
God touching
Please,
your left
childish.
cheek. Like, give me a break.
Stop. Please don't make personal attacks as you're possibly trying to
it's
derail.
Oh, listen, I've
the
only
topic.
gotten. Don't get me started on personal attacks. We can go deeper on that if you want. But I just think you're just
don't want to-
completely
Oh, I want to.
insincere.
No, I want to
Not
go
here to make
deeper. I want to go as
personal-
far down as we
He's-
can get in.
Yeah, he's going deeper on God. But
I'm still trying to justify premise one. So there's people trying to divert.
Yeah, but you can't
But
justify
you
premise
won't- but
one
you
without
won't
supposing
you
the
Yes,
won't
I
coin in my left
am.
pocket.
Give me time
won't-
to
you-
respond, please. Give me
Judeo-Christian.
20
You keep
seconds.
saying, "Give me time to respond," and every
You're
time somebody
interrupting me.
actually has an interrogatory that is designed to get you to clarify premise one,
That's what I'm doing.
You deflect.
No. No.
You insist that they're being unfair and not letting you express yourself. When you won't fucking listen to the nature of the interrogatory and the nature of the and the way you deflect. And if you want me to yell
deflecting.
louder, I will. The way you deflect is by saying you are acknowledging God. So you obviously agree with premise one.
Your volume
That is
just
such
went down.
bullshit. It's a
I think
bullshit
God
form
just
of
lowered your
argument,
volume
dude.
down.
It's completely garbage.
She's right.
I just want to
think
point
God
out
just lowered your
100%
volume down for a moment there.
No,
It doesn't matter. She's right.
I'm
again-
emotionally, I feel her, but I just want to point out that I have a recent announcement to make. I have been in Discord, and I mean, I hate to be the one to tell you, Ultimated, but it says that God has blocked you. He says that he has been trying to take his stuff out for a while. He
Hang on,
said
God doesn't
that you
speak to
never. No, he's in my DMs right now. He says that you never really treated him like a real person, and you always just like assumed he would be there, not giving him the TLC. I don't know. I feel like
no reach around.
Yeah, but Amy, if you're thinking that God exists, you're supposing the coin in my left pocket.
Oh, that's true. And I got
Your
something.
coin
in my
is a
pocket for
temporality.
you.
No, it's not. My coin is
Grab it.
timeless. This is
See
a
what I can
timeless
do.
coin.
No,
It's an
because
eternal
to be timeless, hang on. To be eternal requires an omnipotent mind choosing to sustain.
What's the argument for that?
Immortality.
What's the argument for that?
There's no contradiction in
Yeah,
that.
what's the
It's
argument
just
for that? I didn't say there was a contradiction. I asked you for the argument.
Let me go back to premise one.
So I'll present.
I just
I'll
need
present
20
a conditional.
seconds.
I'll present two arguments for that. A conditional statement and a disjunctive. So just give me a moment as I read this word for word. So I'll just justify. So
you should have this shit memorized by now.
You said you're gonna present a disjunctive.
I will
You
present-
said, wait, hold on. You said you're gonna present a disjunctive. Well, that presupposes both of those presuppose the coin in my left pocket.
A coin can't be ultimate. So again,
Yes, it can. The coin in my pocket, my left pocket, is ultimate. I've defined it as being ultimate, and if it weren't ultimate, it couldn't exist, and it exists. Therefore, it's ultimate.
It's not, because to be ultimate requires an omnipotent mind.
It's an omnipotent. The coin is an omnipotent mind.
A coin is a temporality.
No,
with
it's not. This
edges.
coin is not
It can't be
temporal.
absolute.
Nope. This coin is absolute.
That's not the name. That's not the name of God, from my understanding.
No, I'm sorry. That
well, no, I'm not talking about God. I'm talking about the coin in my left pocket.
That
God is the greatest being conceivable.
Leo. That presupposes
A potato is a temporality.
Yeah, but you know what that presupposes,
must-
Mark? That presupposes the turtle that's 3 feet below the universe. So you know what? Take that.
You know what that presupposes? You know that
What's
presupposes
that?
the eternal dildo is what that presupposes.
Oh, the eternal tilto. But you know what that presupposes?
you haven't
The
addressed
eternal
the-
ball sack. So what's up?
Hang on, you've asked
Well, that
for an
presupposes the eternal
argument.
taint You didn't think you didn't.
Allow me to respond, please.
No, Mark,
So-
you have to go back
so-
to premise one,
so-
Mark.
You're both on the hot.
No, premise one. But
Both
premise one
Mark and
presupposes
Leo,
the
you're
tank
both on the hot seat here. So
I'm on the hot
Meta-
seat, guys.
isn't a
But the hot
tank.
seat, the hot seat presupposes
So here's
the
what
coin in my left pocket.
Allow me
Here's
to
what we're gonna do. I
respond.
will allow you to respond. However, in a second, we are going to we have another Christian on here, another theist. I want to at least give him a chance to say something. And so, final thought on something ultimated. We can always go back to something or move on to something.
Christians and theists got their.
I'm addressing two people. I have there
Hang
are
on,
many claims here. I'm
just
getting
making a point to
interrupted.
Amy here. Just a second.
We
I'm
can
just
do
making
two
a
at the
point.
same time.
I don't think that the other theists
One in
really
each
got
hand.
any. Like P-Town was in here, didn't get a chance to speak. Disciple Day didn't get a chance.
He
to speak.
did.
I think that other people who disagree with us, should have a chance to speak.
I'm getting interrupted, so allow me more than
Yeah, but
30
you say
seconds with
nobody
this
cares.
as I'm
30
addressing.
seconds. I
Hang
don't
on,
think you
don't speak on
understand
behalf
how
of
much.
other people. I will
20
set a
seconds
timer
is a
for
lot
this.
of time. I would say sometime between 10 and 20 seconds. 20 seconds is actually a lot.
So
11.
I'll just
Take it or leave it.
Firstly, hang on. Firstly, I'll just copy and
Sure,
paste
we've
this
had
into the
people not
private
last five.
chat.
Well, then,
Just a
then
moment. So I'll
let
just
the
read this
audience
off.
have it.
4 seconds left.
Hang on. So meta-ontotheologically.
Hang on. No, time's up.
Stop
Time's up.
interrupting me.
Time's
Stop
up.
interrupting me. You're possibly dodging. Allow me to respond.
So
So
I'm going
meta-
to allow
stop
you to
interrupting
hold
me.
on.
Just yell, Leo.
No. It's got to be like this. I'm going to allow you to read it, and at the end of it, no skeptics, not even yourself, are going to respond. Ultimated. I'm going to hand it over to another Christian to get their perspective, or another theist. Or you have your time. This is the one and only time. I'm begging people. I'm begging the skeptics. Although you want to.
Muting.
Yes, I'm going to mute myself. In fact, I'm
How long
muting
are you gonna
everyone.
give them?
We'll be even.
Okay.
No, you get to read it, and then that is the full reading it of the entire night. That is the entire time. Okay, so we're all me. I'm all
Just a
muting
clarifying question. May I ask a clarifying question quickly?
everyone. Yes.
Yeah, but your
You don't
question
answer their
presupposes the
question.
coin in my left
Stop
pocket.
interrupting, please. So
I-
after I read this out and you allow the other Christian theist on, will we continue back?
Reading
to the
presupposes the
syllogism,
coin in my left
or-
pocket.
We could, if it is relevant to the flow of the conversation, then you can bring it back up, or we can do it.
If
But
they
I
have
do
nothing
not.
else to talk about.
I think we have
Serious.
already gone through it, and I don't think you're going to convince us of premise one. And so it's hard.
Just
to
presuppose
say-
premise one?
No,
We just go
I
in
would
circles.
say until you can, it would be like ultimated. All you need to do is presuppose a God doesn't exist, and then we're done.
It still presupposes, again,
No,
I've
it
already
presupposes
explained this.
a God doesn't exist. Okay, like I said, we can't presuppose a God
That's
doesn't
a-
exist because we're convinced
That
a
doesn't
God
make
doesn't
sense.
exist.
That sentence
you.
doesn't make any
But
sense.
when you say a God exists, that doesn't make sense. To us, that is irrational and incoherent when you say that.
You just reference God. So before
Yes,
I read
to
out
not
this
exist.
paragraph,
We reference him to not exist. So,
When
like
you
when
s-
we
when you
reference
say-
Harry
Wasting your
Potter,
time,
it
man.
doesn't mean that Harry Potter exists. It means that Harry Potter is a fictional being that we are mentioning. If you are saying
you're
God
referencing
and
the
Harry
actor
Potter,
Harry Potter or the book. They are actual
Harry
things.
Potter is real, I guess.
there you go. Okay, so that's what I mean when you say that. So we don't think that definitions and fictions are real things in the physicality world. So when you say Harry Potter is a real thing, I don't think it is a real thing as in
You
like a
get hand
book
jobs from
and
Harry
a
Potter
movie
referencing the
and a
actor.
community.
You're referencing the actor or the
um,
actual book. So they
point-
are real things.
point,
You're just,
point,
pla- you're just
Point,
placing
point,
an
point.
abstraction, an arbitrary
Point, point,
label.
They're
I
fictional
get-
things.
No, I get where Ultimated's coming from on that because T Jump was talking to another philosopher where they touched on this aspect of within the context of the book. In a way, the things are real. I'm phrasing it really, really poorly because I'm trying to recount it off the top of my head, and I'm really bad at that. So I kind of get where Ultimated's coming from with that.
It's
The
it's
book
gonna
is
depend
real.
on your.
I'm sorry.
it's-
that I couldn't explain it better. But if you
You're
watch T-Jump's channel where they had that conversation, it's actually really, really interesting.
Sure,
Well,
and I
don't
agree
watch
that the book
T-Jump's
is
channel
real.
for philosophy, but it's going to come down to your metaphysical view with respect to abstract objects. So, like, I'm a nominalist. I think abstract objects don't actually exist. They're just sort of like I mean, at the best, they consist in all of the neurophysiological processes occurring in the brain. That would be what you would get at best from me. But like, yeah, Harry Potter is not a thing that exists in the world. So, but if you're a Platonist, you're going to think that there's some like sort of
kind of like that,
ethereal realm where like numbers and concepts and stuff like that exist, and that's somehow we have access to that realm.
Well, no, it kind of comes down to the all possible worlds thing. So, you know, in this other possible world, there is Harry Potter.
Well, that's possible worlds. That's possible world semantics. That would be a different area.
Yeah, but that's they were going, and that's kind of similar to what Ultimated was kind of doing.
And I also don't agree that all things are possible. I think
Ultimated
that
Christian is trying to extend that to this world.
I know that. Yeah, I know
that.
that.
But possibility has to be demonstrated. Impossibility and possibility both need to be demonstrated. So when people say all things are possible,
technically no.
Yeah,
possibility is sort of like a null. You can falsify possibility, but you cannot demonstrate it. Possibility is what you start with. If you can't show me a contradiction, I can say it's possible, unless and until you show me a contradiction.
You're referencing God, so I'll just read out.
No, I'm referencing the coin in my left pocket.
No, a coin is a temporality.
No, it's not. It's an eternal coin.
And I would say you haven't been shown that it's not possible, but that doesn't mean it is possible.
The paragraph I'm about to read is going to refute your claim of an eternal coin. So
could we get back to him just giving the floor and then
yes, and then I want to wrap this up. We keep on adding. We keep on adding and adding and adding.
Can I just add one more thing really quick with respect to modal metaphysics? It is actually true. If you can't show that it's impossible, then yes, that does actually mean that it is possible. Because what possibility means is a lack of a contradiction. So if you cannot show a contradiction, then it's possible. It is possible for me to walk from the Earth to the moon, logically. Logically, there's no contradiction in me walking from the Earth to the moon. Logically, that's possible.
But physically,
you're
it
referencing
seems
God.
to be impossible.
Exactly. Physically, nomically, it is impossible. And this is where you get into modality, logical modality, gnomic modality. Some people would say metaphysical modality, though that's a little bit more hairy. But anyway, yes, Amy, we can move on. I just wanted to add that.
I would say because physicality is what I care about. So we'll agree to disagree and go back on that topic. I really do want you. This is the only time you're going to do it in full. I'm going to mute everybody. And if anyone unmutes, I will mute you again. However, after that, Ultimated, you can't. That's the only thing. We're switching topics a little bit temporarily. All right, muting. Everybody's muting. I'm muting.
Okay, I'll just say one quick thing. I'm happy enough to stay after I read this out. So the paragraph. This is going to refute the claim of an eternal coin. So meta-ontologically, the adjectival noun absolute involves the noun agelessness, a biblically / awesomely non-physical omnipotent mind, contrarily chaotically free / immune, rather absolutely loving life, conversely without suicidal ambitions. Psalms 92, biblically. Further, God's immune to time / space-time, even though temporalities exist, as the first temporality / temporalities fulfill his eternalness. Thus, temporalities / transients are in temporal or sempiternal time / space-time, and conditionally, so I just have to scroll down. Yeah, I don't think the private chat allows my entire paragraph. I just noticed that now. So am I allowed to read the remaining of that paragraph?
Are you more than halfway done it?
Yes, I'll just get there. Maybe 2 sentences. I'll just find them really quick. Apologies. I'm just shuffling for around like 9,000 words. I'm trying to be as quick as I can. Apologies for the delay.
It kind of sounds like you're just writing an essay and adding words to the word count.
I'm not. You can find this through my patreon.com account. Oh, may I have to just go off memory? So I'll just go off memory.
And hey, God's right there. Just ask him yourself.
Yeah, if God wanted to speak, then he would make that known to me. If you can't handle me, you can't handle God. Accept that. So I'm just going off memory. Conditionally, if God's eternal, then no meta-ontotheological knowledge follows. Meta-ontotheological knowledge follows through sacred theology, thus God's eternal. Disjunctively, so I'll just go off that. I'm just going off memory. So, yeah, what are your responses to that?
Okay. Well, no, there are no responses. We've already gone through. If there are going to be responses, we've seen it pasted. We'll go on to it very specifically. Disciple Day. Do you have anything to say? It doesn't have to be just about anything. Is Christianity rational? Anything we've been talking about? Whatever's on your mind. Taco Tuesday.
I find this so fun. Isn't it fun? Like you see something like ultimated. Is that it? Ultimated Judeo-Christian, and I don't know what to make of it. Like, is he real? Is that a real thing? Like, I'm not trying to make fun either, because there's a very real
we ask
sense.
ourselves that all the time.
Well, let's say, and I know nothing about him, but let's say the guy is just like, here's my goal. I'm going to go on there and get the most attention possible. Well, he certainly just won. Right?
That's true.
If that's his goal, he won the night. And so I just wonder what his goal really is. And I'm not saying it's not what he suggested is. I just don't know. But I do know this, that I'll meet people in my life who their education exceeds their capacity to understand it, and they come across crazy to me, or their intelligence exceeds their education, and they also, so
that is not what's happening here.
It's just very interesting. Well,
he's trying to be nice.
Yeah, well, I don't know what's happening. I really don't. I understand. I certainly have beliefs that most here would consider irrational, and I don't always present my position well, I suppose. But that was I just sat here thinking, boy, this guy is nailing it at getting attention. And so if that's his goal, he's great at it. If that's not his goal, I don't think he's making his point as someone who's a fellow theist at the very least. I don't think he's making his point well if I don't even quite follow. And I'm not saying it because of any intelligence, but I would assume we'd at least start at a similar point. But anyway, sorry. So
no, not at all.
Again, I think I think again, Christianity is rational to me because of my experience, and I think that's the truth is, right, that's the way we all operate. Things are rational within our experience or irrational within our experience, and I can say truthfully that at one time Christianity was irrational to me. So go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Well,
I thought
don't get is how you're using.
Who did he interrupt?
No, he thought he was interrupting you when you said what, Leo?
Oh, wait. Okay.
You were just doing a point of clarification thing. It happens often.
Like I mean, what I mean by that is again, if someone's thinking rationally in what they believe, it starts based on what reasons they have to believe it personally. So something could be rational to me and irrational to you, and we're both right in taking that position. In other words, It's rational for me to believe my wife is faithful, but there's no really
You're
rational reason for.
So wait,
sorry?
you think that if I'm having like
What?
a delusion where there's like a demon behind me that tells me don't turn around or I'm going to kill you, you think that I would be rational in listening to the demon and not turning around because I have my own subjective reasons of like why rationally I wouldn't want to do that because I don't want to die.
Well, yeah. Again, we're speaking in a sense because
realism versus anti-realism.
Well, that wouldn't. No, I don't know. That's over my head. I'm just talking about
normative anti-realism versus realism. That's where that discussion is probably going to lie, because rationality is going to be considered a sort of a normative feature of human action and behavior, and whether or not we can subjectively or objectively define what is rational is going to depend on whether or not you think we can subjectively or objectively define norms. Now, I'm a normative anti-realist, so I don't think that there are like normative facts that would like be independent of some sort of like stance. That norms are based in stances. You can't separate the two. So I would say that if like somebody was having a hallucination and they genuinely internally believed that like there was, I don't know, like a monster in their house, and so they like fled and stayed the night at a hotel, and it was like a genuine belief, I would say that with respect to that standard, yeah, they're acting rationally.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
I think that rationality is kind of based in, is it tied to logic and reason? So in that sense, I would say that the person who is fleeing because of the demon, that they're not being rational because that connection to logic and reason is not there. I mean, you could be rational and still wrong, right? Yeah, but as long as God. You stop, like seriously stop. So as long as you can formulate a basis in rationality and through rationality to base logic, then I think you're being rational. Where what I disagree with is that religion and specifically Christianity has that connection to rationality. Like it can't really, as far as I'm concerned, it can't really give a demonstration as to how that adheres to what we would call a reasonable sort of a reasonable rationale for doing something.
Reference God.
Well, I guess what I would say is I take the same position that most philosophers are going to take. That rationality has to do with the actions. It's a normative feature. It deals with the aims that agents have, and you're rational if you are engaged in those actions or behaviors that conduce your aims, and that you're irrational if you're doing things that do not conduce your aims. Now, I mean, there's some more technicalities there. Like if you're doing something that you genuinely believe is going to conduce your aims, but you later find out that it doesn't, you weren't necessarily acting irrationally because you genuinely believed that engaging or acting this way would conduce your aims. So irrationality is generally going to be given what?
Can I give you an example?
Oh. Sure.
So if you wash your hands because you think you're going to be dragged to hell by demons if you don't, I mean, your aims are beneficial as far as washing your hands get rid of germs or stuff, but I still wouldn't say you're being rational in that.
Well, does the person genuinely believe that
sure,
that if they're then I would say that they would be, with respect to their aims, they're behaving rationally.
Yeah, I think you're just separating out the two. Is your belief rational or is your response rational? So you can have, I think what Mark is saying, but correct me if I'm wrong, Mark, is you can have an irrational belief, but respond rationally in accordance to that belief. So the response, in other words, so if I believe a dragon is chasing me, running is the rational response, but it may not be rational to believe a dragon is chasing me.
Well, but
right?
that raises the question of why do you believe that there's a dragon chasing you?
Well, that's where I would.
God is an ultimate fact, so it's not just a belief.
Nobody cares. Shut up. Seriously, just stop, please. Like I don't care. I don't care about even being rude right now. Like, just stop. People are trying to have meaningful. No, you're not. You were not even remotely
the adults are talking.
All you're
right
doing
now.
is just gibbering incessantly about stupid things that nobody cares about. Please be quiet. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody
Leo,
cares.
I have been through this
But ultimated,
times. I seriously, after like the 5th time or so he does this, it's beyond a joke. Like, you just go, no.
Yeah, like, we had our fun with it already, right? Like, it's just, we're over it. Like, just stop, please. Just stop.
You haven't responded to the
I don't care.
argument.
Stop. I literally do not
you
care.
just
I
referenced God
lost.
again. The
I
pronoun
lost.
I
You
presuppose
whooped.
is
I
God.
lost, and you whooped my ass, and everything I say is reference God. You won. Now please be quiet and let us have a discussion. Thank you.
and ultimated,
Maybe the other
we'll
people want to
go.
respond.
We'll go to possibly like go back to premise 1 a little while from now, but I just want to do kind of we want to do a rotation of subjects. That way, I'm up for you talking about, once again, you got to have more experiences with Jesus or Christianity, and that is the topic tonight. So we want to learn more about that. However, I want to get Duchess of Clutches in here before you do. Duchess of Clutches, what is up? We are Midnight Ranting on Is Christianity Rational? There was a modern day debate between Stuart Kineckley and Matt Dillahunty.
Nettle. Stuart Nettle.
No, and I'm always bad. I always try, but the pronunciation of names sucks. And I always want to be like fair. I'm like, I want to say this right. And so I make sure I get, because I've watched so much of Matt's stuff that I'm going to say his name right. But Duchess of Clutches, we are talking, is Christianity rational? What are your thoughts about the debate, the subject, or anything we've been talking about tonight?
Hey guys, how's my audio going?
Sweet.
It's great.
Sound wonderful.
Got a new mic.
And what are your thoughts? Do you have anything about, is Christianity rational? Yes, no, other so? And oh my, I just see in the back chat, it's like an unstoppable force and an immovable option. I know James is protecting me. But wouldn't it, oh God, wouldn't it be funny? It's nukes versus handies for Jesus.
Duchess, we can't hear you anymore. I'm not sure if you muted yourself accidentally or something.
Sorry about that. My Chrome just like crashed randomly.
Oh, you're good.
Oh, we lost Duchess.
She was good when she asked us about her audio, and then after that, we heard nothing.
Her audio is like, hold my beer.
She's coming back.
That happens to me in Discord all the fucking time.
Can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
Just one thing only. Please. Everybody's going to know. Well, I know that Mark, Amy, and James at least are going to know who I'm talking about. You see him in the side chat. He just sent a message. Please, 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 for the love of God.
That's what I was talking about, yes.
For the love of God.
But Leo,
please do not
you
let
want
him
to
in.
know which would be better? Getting nuked by God or getting a handy by God?
Maybe
Come
we
on.
don't have Wesley debate ultimated.
No, please, no. Oh my God, please.
On that note, y'all, I'm gonna head out. But Amy, thanks for having me on the stream.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
I do want to do debates on modern day debates. So if you can put a good word in for me with James, be much appreciated. I think I'm an all right bloke, so I'm not gonna say anything weird or
Very big.
I think I would be good on modern day debates. So
I'll do you one better. Should all be going down there.
Well, usually James likes to do a tag team for your first appearance on Modern Day Debate, and I'm sure Amy or me or James W. There'd be a ton of people that'd be happy to team up with you.
Yeah, and somebody suggested that it would be a good idea if I debated standing for truth. So I don't know if that bridge is burned or not, but hopefully standing will still want to debate. But we'll see. I would just like to do a debate on modern day debates because I just started my channel last month, so I'm pretty new. So I'm trying to get exposure and everything. And plus, debates are very fun. But I'm not interested in debating ultimated. I want to clarify. So
I'll just ask Mark a quick. I'll just ask Mark a quick question.
No questions. I'm not taking questions.
No, we're not talking from him.
It's not in
How's my audio? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh,
It's
great.
a quick question in regards to modern
Nobody
day debate.
cares. Nobody cares. Modern day debate won't let you on.
Off everybody else. So why won't you reference me to James to modern day debate again?
Because I don't think you would perform like a quality debate in the type that he is looking for. So I'm not going to support you trying to get
So I have the camera. I know a different way you can perform and do fantastic.
You should do it God's OnlyFans. It would make a ton of money, and you could have fun. And
this is me with God. Tonight we're gonna get down and dirty.
I missed a good chunk of it. Well, I missed the whole debate, and I missed the preamble to when I got here. I guess there was some spicy things going on, but
so I don't mind saying in public what I've said in private. If you are on modern day debate, I would debate anybody that's put up against me. I'm very forward with that, but I'm not going to recommend you to James. I'm sorry, I'm not going to do that.
Nope. I don't think anybody should.
Maybe
you're reading Leo.
Whether God is a top or a bottom.
Sorry, Duchess. I'm sorry to
say that again.
No, you're good.
It goes both ways.
He said that. Yeah, God goes.
Hey, wait, hold on, Grayson. Grayson, you're still here, right? Are you still there?
Yeah.
Do you want to? I don't know if they'd agree. But do you want to debate Rebecca and Sal on cosmology?
Also, can we just take for a second to appreciate that I understand, like, you being submissive to God and calling yourself like God's servant, God's slave. Like,
yes, Daddy. No, the crucifix doesn't go there, Daddy.
But that means you're topping God. That means ultimate. Oh, come on, ultimated. There's no way you're real when you say that, and yet somehow you.
I am
9
being
hours.
real. You are missing out on a
here.
relationship with God.
But okay, ultimated. Like if it wasn't a joke and you go both ways, that means you do sometimes top God.
Yes, it goes both ways. God is having sex with me now as I am standing up, but I can't feel the pleasures of it. We just go through the motion. So my pelvis is moving in and out.
You heard it here first, folks. God is a switch.
This is the ultimate proof of God. Someone on YouTube is getting fucked by God. This is awesome.
I could point to many people getting fucked by God, quite frankly.
And Jordan, we want it to be true. But here's like the thing is that this individual, and I feel bad that we're talking about you while you're here, Ultimated. But like Ultimated does 9-hour streams about this, and like wants to. I think someone has said he has offered to.
Not necessarily. I have to correct you there. It's not just 9 hours straight.
You're gonna go.
So sometimes you can go.
That's
God deep throat you?
I doff
9 hours
tap
straight.
you,
Don't
sir.
threaten me with a good time.
I know the
take
stamina,
breaks, guys. They need to, take breaks in between their sessions.
Even he rested on the 7th day, right?
Hold on. I have a serious question for Ultimated. Do you deep throat God's cock?
Yeah, you can think of any sexual.
Yeah, you gawk all over that cock, don't you?
I have a question for Wesley behind stage. Are you listening to this and
God,
being like,
please,
"Oh no, it's not going to be the I love you, Wesley," but it's too chaotic.
This is not the kind of stream to have
exactly. But I do want you to answer that question.
Bring Beamsy in, not Wesley.
Yes, let's bring Beamsy in. Beamsy said to
I'm
love.
going to step out as well. I think I've had my fill of this, but it's a shame because I really did want to talk.
Great to have you on, Mark.
So did I. That's why I came back. But it's just,
I gotta stop being so late.
I know.
Well,
that's okay. But
what we have learned is it's never premature. You always are here exactly when you should be.
It's interesting, Mark. You're usually never done this quickly.
I know. I've had a premature exaltation.
Eat more protein.
No, I know. It's actually like hours past lunch, and I haven't had lunch, so I'm getting.
Oh shit!
I'm getting hangry. Yeah, no, it's a bad sign.
I can understand that.
Take care.
Love you, Mark.
Bye,
Take it
Mark.
easy, buddy.
We're not
Cheers, Mark.
sponsored by Snickers, but it could have been, maybe.
Oh, it satisfies in more
That's
than
right,
one
baby.
way. Leave it in there
Are
so
we
long
going
it
back to
melts.
the arguments?
No, we're not. Shut up.
Well, we brought
You
in
conceded to the
Beamsy.
argument.
Welcome, Beamsy. Well,
Hi, Beamsy.
Hi, Beamsy.
that's
How's it
the
going?
problem with presuppositionalism is that they don't talk about their own views. Like, you won't talk about
Yes, that's
Jesus
premise I
and
have.
Christianity.
That's premise 2.
No.
Please, let's
No.
not go through this
Jesus is
again.
God?
No.
No,
Jesus
you've
is
already,
God.
you've
Claim
already
Beamsy,
pretty much
how are you
revealed
doing?
Allow me to
yourself.
respond.
You've already
No.
revealed yourself as an attention whore. So
We're not going to allow
Not
you.
the case necessarily.
No, we're not going to allow you to
I'm being
respond. Beamsy, go
I've
ahead.
been patient. There's other people in the panel. You
no,
consider
you're
No,
an,
nobody
you're an
cares.
attention
somebody else to
whore.
respond.
Nobody cares.
Can't
Beamsy,
No,
just
nobody
Just
gives a
making
fuck
claim.
about
Stop
you.
making these universal
nobody
claims.
cares. Nobody
No,
cares.
that's
Because
not a
God
universal
cares. God
claim. It's very
cares.
specific. It's about you. Nobody gives a fuck about you.
You just made a universal claim. God cares.
No, that wasn't
That refutes
universal.
your
It's quite
claim.
specific.
I mean, I do kind of care about you as a person. Like, I want you to be healthy
I
and
do
happy,
too.
but
I
I
do.
don't
You know,
care
don't
about
take-
what you.
don't get me
Yeah,
wrong.
I get what you're saying, Steph. I get what you're saying. I don't care about. We don't care about what you have to say here.
No, you could only say I. Don't say
No, you've
we.
already
You're not
already
omniscient.
claimed to be fucking God 6 ways to Sunday. It's like what
Not
the
a
hell?
claim.
You know?
It's the truth. It's the truth, not a claim.
Yeah, no, okay.
And okay, this one doesn't say "Don't read me," and I'm sorry, Disciple Day. Every time it says like you even did it in caps the last time, and I'm still like derpity derp. Disciple
so much,
Day for
Disciple Day.
$20. Thank you so very much. Time to sleep. Ultimated. If you wanted attention, you executed a
You kinda
master
derailed the
plan.
stream.
Kudos. Thank you again, James, Amy, Gizmo, and all the kitties. That's true, the true producers and the guests for a fun conversation. Look forward to more discussions in the future. It is truly an honor to have you on the panel, Disciple Day, part of the Skeptic and Ranting community.
I hope he
We are
comes
so glad
back.
to have you there.
I
Exactly.
was actually looking forward to maybe having some discussions with him, like Mark was, but you know that got a little sidetracked, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
To say the least.
Well, we went
Amy,
down a
can
rabbit
we go back?
hole.
Go
You're
in the
restricting
private
what Amy
chat.
said
Read
earlier?
number
Is that-
18. In the private chat, read Wesley's number 18.
Oh no.
War is what you are doing.
No,
now
you don't have to read it to the. You don't have to read
Okay.
it to the panel. I meant just you read it.
Gotcha.
What is going on in the private
I
chat?
asked Amy if we are
I
going
can
back
tell
to
you,
syllogism
and I'm going to,
after
since it's
the
just
other
ultimated
person. Hang on,
talking, I'm
stop
just going to
interrupting
talk
me,
over him,
please.
and I don't care. So the
I was
guy, I'm not going to
asking-
say his name,
this
but the
is
guy
to
in the private
Amy.
chat,
Stop interrupting me. Stop
yeah, so
interrupting me. I was being
he
one, I'll
has
be one sentence.
some
I will be one
issues.
sentence.
I know it sounds a bit
I
strong,
will
but
be
yeah,
one
he's
sentence.
got
After
he's
Leo.
got
You conceded to the
some
argument.
I
issues.
can't.
Allow
Ultimated, you
me
need
to
like
say something.
Ultimated,
Allow
you're
me to
such an
say
asshole.
I'm not.
Honestly.
I've been
Yeah,
very
you're
patient
terrible
here.
asshole.
I'm respecting.
Yeah, the
Well, I'll answer. Is just that
back to
Wesley,
you,
let's
Ultimated.
just say, is enthusiastic about his views as Ultimated is, and so yes. The TDL version is much a nukes in the end. It's kind of like the Scientology version of Christianity. The nukes are coming. Oh boy, good times. And then Ultimated has the handies are coming. So like
yeah, and you know the thing is, Amy, that assures the skin on your teeth. When the angels come, I'm telling you what, you're gonna hear the bread ring when it starts to boil. That's definitely the case.
Is that like
unfortunate
heavenly
thing is-
bukkake or something? I mean,
yes,
I
it
don't understand.
is.
Can I have one sentence, please?
Yes,
Of
you
all
may.
that- one
Yes.
sentence.
Like
So-
15 words
as
max.
I was no.
Yes,
As I,
15
as,
words
as
max.
I was stop interrupting me.
All right, let him go.
I'm
let him go.
respecting what Amy said earlier. Is that after I read the paragraph, I asked Amy before I presented the paragraph, are we going back? So I'm paraphrasing here. Are we going back to the syllogism after
No,
we
we're
bring
not.
up the other.
We're
Stop
not doing
interrupting
that.
me.
I'm not
Stop
interrupting
me.
No,
This is
no,
not
we're
about
going
you.
into
This is not to
we're
you.
going into
This question
throating
is to
God.
Amy. This question is to Amy. So
Amy.
to go back to what I was saying is that from my memory, I asked Amy, are we going back to the syllogism after I present the paragraph in the private chat? And you said yes. After you bring up the other person. So I've been very patient here. So I'm going off what you
able to go
said.
to it a little bit.
Yes, well, the problem is, Ultimated, is that you are not going to accept our answer for premise 1, and we're never going to accept your premise 1. And so
you just presuppose premise 1, though.
No, and that's the point. So, like, when you say you presuppose premise 1, we didn't. We reject that we presupposed it. We don't believe that God exists. So this is what I mean, Ultimate. Do you see how we're going in a circle? We don't believe a God exists.
No, because you're possibly not listening. You need to paraphrase my justification.
That's because we're incredibly stupid, Ultimate. You need to accept Ultimate.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you so much joy. I'm going to give you so much joy, Ultimate. I'm going to give you so much joy in the knowledge that atheists are incredibly stupid and do nothing but talk all over you. And you go and go and go and go and go just to get attention, you little child.
Reformat your premise. Reformat premise 1 where we don't presuppose a God exists.
So you made a claim. So allow me to address your Gishgalop is that the pronoun I, you have to.
What is a Gishgalop?
Stop! You're bringing up too many points.
So no, you mentioned it.
Yes, it is.
Okay, let's stick with this.
Yeah, but you mentioned Gishgalop. So what does that mean?
I just explained it. You need to Google
no,
it.
You
just told me what it is. So yes, I did. So this is to Amy. So the pronoun I presupposes God. Because you are a temporality.
How?
Because you are a temporality with limitations, you have to appeal to God who doesn't have any limitations.
No,
in virtue of what?
And now, hang on, that's to Amy. Allow Amy to summarize. Allow Amy to summarize that basic sentence. Respond.
So when we are using the pronoun I, we must reference God to even be able to state it. Is that what you're saying?
By the way, Amy, Duchess wants you to bring her back on stage.
Oh, and I disagree with that premise. When we use the word I, we do not need to reference God. God is not needed in any pronouns, including I, myself, or any referential to myself.
That's just a claim. So you just reference God.
Wait a minute. What the hell is
Wait, hold on.
He's getting it. He's getting it. Hold on. He's getting it. He's getting it. So you made the claim that when we use the pronoun
make a claim. I haven't made any claims.
Let me finish, please. Please let me finish. So you made the claim that when we reference myself or the pronoun I, that we're referencing God. What is your argumentation or evidence for that claim?
I'll explain it again. So through sacred theology / revealed theology, the creator-creature distinction, perfect being theology, ultimate / brute facts, and God's prescriptive laws of logic / thought. So you can get a PhD or a THD in sacred theology. If you don't believe me, just Google that.
Yeah, I would be highly surprised if you can get an accredited.
That's a hell of an answer for a very simple question.
How would you describe that to a layman?
So I'll make this as basic as I can, which I have already.
Hey, I'm new, so you got to explain.
When you say I, if I may,
allow me to respond.
I will certainly. My God, you're so persecuted.
You need to allow me to respond. I'm addressing one person at a time.
Up yours.
So again,
strangling the truth.
I'm trying to.
Oh, he's in the house. Basic. I'm sorry. That was a bit loud.
So, because you are a temporality, if you don't know what a temporality means, it means that you are finite. If you don't know what finite means,
that's false. There could be a time that's there could be a time that's infinite, and you exist for all points in that infinite time, and you wouldn't be finite. So what you just said is false.
By using
regressions are false.
By using excuse me.
I'm responding to the other
by
person.
using the pronoun I. You are saying that an entity is fixing itself in time, therefore being a temporality. Is that a fair reading of what you just said?
I've already explained this, so I'll do it again.
Is that? Can you just answer my? Did you hear what I said? Did you hear what I said? And
yes,
B,
I would justify this again.
No, you could answer a fucking question that is posed rationally, right?
I'm answering the question. So I've already gone through this. I'm just letting you know.
No, you're not. You're answering the question by whining that you're answering the question without fucking answering the question.
I'm just letting you know.
You're just being an asshole.
Hold on here. Ultimated.
I'm just letting you. Hang on.
Repeat Stephanie's question back to her. Repeat Stephanie's question back to her. Show her that you understand the question.
Hang on, please. I'm just letting you know I've already addressed this, so I just have to repeat myself again. So I'm just paraphrasing here. God's not affected to time / space-time, even though temporalities exist, as the first temporality / temporalities fulfill his eternalness.
I think what you're trying to can I just for one really brief second, I think in a layman's terms what you're trying to say is that God is outside of time and space, to your understanding. Would that be at all accurate?
Yes, defaultly.
Okay.
And he can transcend into temporalities.
Oh, that's interesting.
What does it mean to be outside of space and time?
I was just asking if that was his perspective.
No, I'm asking because it sounded like he was agreeing with you, so I'm asking him what that even means.
One at a time, please. One at a time.
Yes, but you never seem to want to answer anybody. But if you'd answer this, and please listen carefully. And after I ask the question, I would like you to repeat the question I asked. Okay?
Okay, I'll write it out. I'll try to write it out.
Please do. Get a pen out. When God uses the pronoun.
Are your volumes dropping? Can you start again?
I am trying to speak slowly and clearly
your volume
so that you can use your pen to write down this question.
I'm typing this out. Your volume is dropping down.
Is my volume dropping down for everybody?
Yes.
It was before.
Okay.
That means everybody's probably going to have to mute.
You could type out your question in the private chat.
No.
Is your volume still dropping?
Your volume did go wonky, Stephanie.
Yeah, it's kind of up and down.
Probably the one doing it. You just have to accept that.
That's why I had audio problems at the beginning. God did it. So
you have to remember, I'm God's best friend. So
I'm
God
hearing
could be the
Stephanie,
one lowering
so
your volume down.
No, I'm hearing Stephanie.
You could type out your question in the private chat.
I think we should let her say it. I was hearing her.
When God, you writing this down now? Is my volume okay? Yes. When God uses the pronoun I in the Bible, in answering Moses' interrogatory, who are you? The response being, I am that I am. Does God fix himself in time?
Okay, so you reference Exodus 3:14. So do you want me to
read out? I
don't
want you to tell me what I already fucking know. I want you to answer the fucking question.
I'm answering the question. I'm just building it up. So you reference Exodus 3:14. So as I've already stated, I've already explained this. This is maybe the fourth
For fuck's
time
sake,
now.
you've already explained everything, including
stop
God and the
interrupting me,
universe, but you
please.
haven't answered a single goddamn question.
I've answered all of
night
your
long.
questions. I've answered every one of your questions, and I've listened to every word.
No, you haven't.
So
Bullshit.
yes, I have. Allow me to respond.
No, you haven't.
To the
You're
question.
not even
I'm responding
answering
to the
the.
question.
You're not
Yes,
even
I am. You're
answering
interrupting
this
me.
one.
Yes, I'm just letting you know. I've
Your
already addressed
answer
this.
to my question.
Nobody
I've
cares
already
if you've already addressed
you know,
it.
I'm
Answer.
just letting you know because you have to summarize my answer because I'm just letting you know I've already addressed this over 4 times for my memory.
No, you haven't.
So yes,
No, you
I
haven't.
have.
No,
Yes,
you
I
haven't.
have. So go.
No, you
Yes, I
haven't.
have. So go.
you
Yes, I
haven't.
have.
No,
Yes,
you
I
haven't.
have.
No, you
could
haven't.
watch you could watch this on my YouTube channel. So hang on. So allow me to respond. Allow me to respond, please. So
you're perfectly
maybe the
happy
5th
to, but
time.
you're
Hang on. Stop interrupting me,
never
please.
do.
Stop interrupting me, please. So for maybe the 5th time now, God's unaffected by time / space time, and God can transcend into temporalities. So
God. Sorry, Steph.
I don't believe that you answered the question.
Yes.
Can you repeat my answer?
Yes. That God can do anything, including being in temporalities. So is that correct? But that's not really a very simple answer to a pretty simple question. Is that correct?
That's a very simple answer.
No, it's not particularly simple to me because I'm a particularly simple person.
Well, then let me simplify it for you even more. Then.
Please do.
So, because God is eternal, temporalities fulfill his eternalness, so he can transcend into temporalities.
Okay.
Whilst remaining in his eternal realm.
Okay. So is your argument that when God uses the word I assume that the answer to my specific question was yes. That is an instance of God becoming temporal, engaging in the temporal, because it seems to me your first premise, every time someone has spoken to you about the first premise, you say, by using the pronoun I, you are temporal and therefore inferior to God. Is that kind of the dimension that you're arguing from?
I didn't say that word for word. What I said.
No, you didn't. I want you to respond to. Is that a fair thing? Can you just say sort of, or not at all, or
you're putting? Don't put words on my mouth.
I'm not.
I didn't say that.
Legitimately
Stop interrupting me,
pleading for you
please. I'm responding to your
legitimately
question.
asking you to answer a fucking question.
I'm responding to your question.
Go for it, dude, and make it short because it's really fucking tedious.
Firstly, your question presupposed God as he is ultimate.
There you go. I want to know why you think my question
interrupting me.
He's not going to tell
God.
you.
Interrupting me. Stop interrupting me.
I want to know why. I want you to explain. No,
this is just a lot of incoherent back and forth.
This is the heckler's veto. You're constantly interrupting to silence me.
For fuck's sake. No, I'm not.
Day.
Ultimator, can I ask, have you ever convinced anyone of this?
Yes, I've converted many people on the spot. I have evidence of this through my youtube.com channel.
Pick the right spot, pal. Pick another spot.
I primarily, I've got evidence of this on my YouTube channel.
So bully for you. You come on Amy's YouTube channel to boost yours.
How valid do you think on-the-spot conversions are?
I've got a high ratio. You just have to listen to a full 9-hour video. You don't have to watch it on normal speed. So I'm giving you incentive.
You're such a comedian.
You're a very short 9-hour video.
Clarifying. Watch it on slow motion. It'll take 12 hours.
Clarifying. Ultimated. Are you saying on every video you have a conversion, or just on some videos you have a conversion?
I wouldn't say all videos, because not all videos are 9+ hours. But if you watch, maybe I'll just have a look here quickly. Just a moment.
So
as
some.
I go to my YouTube page. I've
So
converted
some.
many people, but
Yeah,
I'm
but
just
some.
recommending you a video.
Cool,
But
cool.
You can just watch video number 223.
I'm
So that's
sorry.
9 hours,
Oh
26
my
minutes, and
God.
11
Do
seconds.
you honestly believe you're going to get any fucking subs out of this ridiculous bullshit gish gallop nonsense all night
You've
long?
asked for. I'm just giving you evidence.
I hate to say it, but I have watched one of his videos all the way through. So kudos to that. But
Did you
no,
get
I'm not
off at the
subscribing
end?
to- No.
Damn.
Beautiful timing.
I'm sorry, but
You
all
literally
over the
made me
computer.
spit my fucking drink out.
Yes, I have watched one of your 9 hours videos, Ultimated. You've got some quirks in how you talk to people, which is probably why you get arcing up at them. So maybe that's something you should work on.
And
Just making a claim, unless you can provide a timestamp, your claim can be dismissed.
Are you a
I didn't make a
Protestant, a
claim. I
Catholic?
said-
Do you have? Are you your own thing? You are the
On the
ultimated church?
pre-denominational.
Denominational.
Otherwise, a fundamentalist.
Pre-denominational. That's
Yeah,
an interesting word.
Didn't make a
How do
claim.
you
I said
do?
I'd
You
watched all
went
your
back
video.
in time.
He is
So
the
that's in
88
regards-
miles an hour denomination.
So to go back to the argument that the previous interlocutor Stephanie, you questioned premise 1 in regards to God.
No. I want to get to. I want you to understand the actual question I'm asking. I want to understand why the assertion that the use of the pronoun I.
It's not an assertion, just to correct you quickly.
Okay.
This is
I used one.
semantically
I used one word. I beg you, only use one word in correction.
Well, my thing
is
is
your
that
question?
it is both like a very semantic argument paired with I have sex with God. It's very nuanced and then out there at the same time. We are 10 minutes, if that, away from switching it into outros. It's so funny. Just sending love to Nathiest out there. We have I now know the ACA used to say, listen, we get all of these emails saying you don't put the real Christians on. You don't put the intelligentsia Christians on. And then what ends up happening is we get not only ultimated. I'm sending love to Wesley back there, who thinks that we're going to be tied to nuclear bombs and blown up so that the angels can finally get through the matrix. And so I'm waiting for it. Actually, the Disciple Day sounded fairly sane, and we used to have a lot of other
went down the rabbit hole crazy.
Yeah. We used to have Jim come on. We used to have Will Stewart. Send love to Will out there. But I don't know. This is my thing, Ultimated. Just because we only have a few minutes left, and I know you want to talk about your syllogism the whole time, but let's just put that aside. Is there anything you could talk to us about Christianity?
Yes, I have. I have been referencing Judeo-Christianity, as that's the topic of the syllogism that I was presenting. So
you're missing.
What if
I think you're missing a point here. Maybe you could say how Christianity has improved your life. Give us a little of that?
Sure, I'll take that.
So obviously, because God exists and is the greatest being conceivable, we are to love God, which I
and you make
do,
love to him,
and that's who I am. So to further justify Judeo-Christianity, forward slash
No,
Christianity?
no, no, no.
Is
That wasn't the question. The question was how is
I'm addressing
belief in God
multiple questions at
improved your
once.
life? No, you're not. That was
Already
the only.
explained it.
You
That's
only
a
had one.
politician answer
You
right
only
there.
had one. You only had one question. The question was how has Christianity
multiple
improved your
questions.
life? No, there
I've
weren't.
already answered this. Yes, there
You-
was. You're not
you've
the
an-
only one.
no,
You're
no,
not
no,
the only
no.
one asking questions.
The only question, Amy said, we all agree this is one question. Can we all agree that this is one question we'd like
Yes.
to hear an answer for?
I was asked to talk about Christianity / Judeo-Christianity. You can just
That's
re-watch the
You were
recording.
asked.
No.
You were asked directly. How has Christianity?
Yeah, that was
improved
to
your life?
you. You're not the only one asking questions.
Why do you keep
That's-
saying forward slash,
You
by
are
the way?
just such a dishonest interlocutor.
That's
I'm
what
not
I
being
want to know. Like,
dishonest.
why do you
You're
keep
just
saying
slandering.
forward slash?
I just don't get what also
Because
you
people
add
may
the
not
words
know what
It
slash
works in
means.
random words in the middle.
So what I mean by forward slash is that the words after the forward
I didn't
slash,
ask you what you meant by it. I asked you why you keep saying it.
Well, I'm just assuming you don't know what it means. I'm explaining what
I
it
know
is.
what a forward slash is. I'm asking you why you're saying it out loud. It's like me reading a book
Because
out
I've
loud
already
to like
answered
third
this.
graders or something for
I've
story time.
answered
And then
this.
every
I
time there's a
said-
comma or a period, I actually say
said-
comma or period. Like why? Like why?
You know,
I said,
You know,
I
mate.
said to hang on, wait your turn, please. So I said, for people who don't know what slash means, I say forward slash. So I'm just paraphrasing my response.
Guns N' Roses?
If you're not listening, then
That doesn't answer
that's
my
not
question.
Yes, it does. You
No, it
asked me
doesn't.
why
You know-
do I
Wait,
say-
no, wait,
I
hold
said-
on, hold
you
on, hold
asked
on.
me
What
why
was
do I
my
say
question?
forward
You
slash.
know-
What was my
You
question?
asked me why do I say forward slash,
And
my
now
response
reiterate
to
what
this-
your
this is-
answer was.
This is the third time I said I say forward slash just in case people don't know what slash means.
What? So
I'm
what is
being more
what
precise.
slash has a meaning now? Outside of like cutting
Guns N' Roses.
something?
Slash
Bass
forward
guitar.
slash forward slash.
Like
You-
HTTP.
Why did you
You
just say it 3 times in a row? Are you trying to
What I
like
was thinking.
summon one from the mirror in your bathroom in the dark?
And we're
or
gonna
something?
get
Like,
the
what?
last person in here
Ooh.
for the night. I think we're gonna get the freak. What is up? We're bringing you on because we are midnight ranting to freak on is Christianity rational? Well, I think we definitely talked about it at least once tonight. And so, what are your thoughts about the debate, the topic, or anything we've been talking about?
Yeah, well, I think that it's rational because the random chaos creating something and all that jazz is a little bit more irrational. But I really need to query this gentleman if I could.
Oh,
It's
absolutely.
impossible.
So, what do you think about Islam?
Islam is fallacious because the first sentence of the Quran doesn't reference a creation point, so it doesn't complement God's truthful lovingness. The first sentence of the Bible.
There are so
references a
many better
creation-
criticisms
Hang on,
you can make of Islam.
hang on, please.
and
Well, hang
the
on,
first
please. Hang on,
sentence
please.
doesn't
Hang
do
on,
it
please.
justice.
Hang on,
Doesn't-
please. Hang on,
The
please. Hang on,
first
please.
sentence
Hang on,
is
please.
Don't let the guy-
Hang on, please. Hang on, please. Hang on. It's my turn to respond. Thanks. So
I
the
hope you're
first
hanging on for
sentence-
dear life.
Up yours.
Hang on, please. So
Of your life.
I'll just reiterate. So the first sentence of the Quran doesn't reference a creation point, so it doesn't complement God's ultimate truthful lovingness, as an ultimate truthful God would want to make his attributes known to us within early scripture to falsify all other fake gods. The first sentence in the Bible states, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. Creation is an expression of love, and because God is love, he would want to make this known to us within early scripture. So this is why the Bible is the top-selling book worldwide.
Wait,
Following
creation is an expression of love? Wait, but I just want to make sure I heard him
That's something
correctly.
you're a
Creation.
Before you
Yes,
go on to anything, I just wanted to make sure, Jafreak, I want
I'm
you
not
to
trying
just
to go
really
on.
isolate. Doesn't that one point, do you notice that he almost sounds like a normal Christian? Like he almost does. Whether you like that argument or not, Like, this is why we challenge the troll / Poe, because on one level he's sitting here and being like, I am this close to orgasming with my BFF God. And then on the other hand, he's like, yeah, Islam it's not in the, it doesn't say creation within the first sentence. And it's like, I don't know if this is a problem. I really can't decide. I'm sorry, Leo. Right back over to you.
So ultimated, you said creation is an expression of love, right? I heard that correctly?
Yes, because energy.
So if I create a scenario where a bunch of people suffer, that's love?
And can you say that again?
If I create a scenario where a bunch of people suffer, is that love?
You said I. You presupposed God.
And it depends. Your question requires clarification because you are not.
Okay,
God.
so ask for the clarification. I'd be happy to provide it for you.
So are you talking about sinners? Are you talking about
nope.
suffering of sin?
I'm talking about people.
But I'm not
yes,
suffering,
Samir,
so I have
you
to
are
clarify
correct.
your question.
I was going to say
Are you
that,
referencing the suffering of sinners?
It doesn't matter who I'm referencing.
It does matter.
No,
people
it doesn't.
People in general, whoever.
That's too vague. So
no, it's not.
Clarification.
We're just talking about the suffering of people.
Yeah, but the suffering of those people, they may not be in Christian perfectionism.
It doesn't matter. The whole point is to demonstrate. No, it doesn't.
An innocent person.
So the whole point of my straight that like creation does not entail love.
Hold up, Thea.
It does.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does because
Baby,
energy / matter entails water, oxygen, food,
no,
electricity, shelter,
no, it doesn't.
It literally doesn't.
Yes, it is. That's
no,
what,
it doesn't.
That's what,
energy.
Yes, it is. Yes.
No, it doesn't.
Energy / matter entails water, electricity,
no, it
shelter.
Doesn't. Nope.
Yes, it does.
No.
Yes, it does.
Okay, now
it
does. I'm interrupting
because
both
none
you.
of those things existed, like 13 billion years ago.
So
that's just a
we got
claim.
2 people backstage, and they are definitely going to be the last. I just want to poll, just very specifically from RedBull and C Science, who I know are definitely Christians. Can you have a sexual relationship with God? That's all I want to know. Yes or no? Is that physically or spiritually possible? With that, we're going to bring on Nathiest and Samar, and then we really are heading out.
Nobody else come on.
That's right. There are those. These will be the last 2 if you join afterwards. I can't help it, but Nathiest, what is up? We are Midnight Ranting on Is Christianity Rational? I hope you're having a good time. And what are your thoughts about anything we're going to talk about tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm just curious to understand, like, can you hear me okay?
Yes, a little low, but I can fix that too. Or
Hold up. Is this better?
Sounds fine to me.
You're good.
Okay, dope.
Continue.
Okay, so I just don't understand. My brain hurts, first of all. I've been watching for all 3 hours, and the entire time, like, I feel like we finally got ultimated after about 3 hours to stop reading from a script and actually talk. So I'm like super happy about that.
It's not just a script.
I'm
not reading bullet points. I'm just reading off the project. I plan on getting a PhD in philosophy and a THD in theology, so I'm reading off my work.
Just out of curiosity, do you have a master's or an undergrad yet in any subject?
No, I'm in the process of getting a bachelor's, master's, PhD, diploma, etc.
Yeah. So in other words, no.
Okay, Matthews, right back to you.
Of getting those. So
there
will be further study in God's new kingdom.
Right.
Okay. Do you understand, Ultimated? Do you understand that in your argument, the first premise is okay? First of all, I just want to know, what is your argument trying to conclude? What is the conclusion to your argument?
Okay, so firstly, you can find out my syllogism within the About page of my YouTube.com channel, Ultimated Judeo-Christian.
Skip to the conclusion.
Allow me to respond, Fangs. I'm not finished. So the conclusion.
But are you going to actually respond to what was asked of you, or are you just going to ramble incessantly about entirely unrelated things?
I'm letting the person know.
No, they don't care. 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 Yes, they do. They literally just said they don't care.
Allow me to respond, Fangs. So I'm just letting you know. I'm helping you out here. You can follow along the syllogism with.
You'd help better if you'd answer the question.
Stop interrupting me. Stop interrupting. I am. I'm just letting the person know. I will get to the conclusion, but I'm just letting you know.
No,
that you can find out. Stop interrupting me. Stop interrupting me. Stop interrupting me.
You're
I'm
like
just letting the
18,
person
aren't
know.
you?
I'm just letting the person know. I'm just letting the person know that my syllogism is posted within the about page.
Nobody cares.
Channel.
Nobody cares.
Ultimated Judeo-Christian. So the conclusion, thus Judeo-Christian.
You're doing a terrible job.
Positionalism follows.
You're doing a terrible,
That's just a claim.
You're doing a terrible
That's just
job
a claim.
defending
That's just a claim. That's just a claim.
Conclusion.
But there's no evidence. That you're
yes, all
claim
facts.
with no evidence whatsoever, except the fact
facts.
that you
No conclusion. I've been hearing the premises.
You just made a claim. You just made a claim. All facts is evidence for God.
No.
Is God
What's a
preconditions
fact?
all facts? Yes.
What's a fact?
You can't say no.
What is a fact?
What a fact is.
What is a
you
fact?
Can't say no. You
what is
can't
a fact?
say no. Then you can't
no, but
say
you
no.
used
Then
the
ask
word.
me what a fact is.
What is a fact?
Witness truth.
You can't
What
say
is a fact?
no if you don't.
So you don't know what a fact is. I didn't think so.
Hang on. If you don't know what a fact is, you can't say that I'm wrong.
I didn't say that you were wrong.
Trying to get your definition of it ultimated. He wants to know what you
said no.
I said no because I thought you were. I said no with respect. I said no with respect to you continuing to speak. I said like no, stop, wait, hold on. What do you mean by fact? What is a fact? Tell me what you mean by fact. I don't care if you've already explained it. Tell me what you mean by fact. Don't tell me that you've already explained it. Explain it.
An actuality.
So what is an what is an actuality?
A fact.
So an fact is wait, hold on. So a fact is an actuality, and an actuality is a fact, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Actually.
Okay, so that's just a tautology, and it's completely uninformative.
It's a synonym.
So hold on here. Imagine if you asked me, well, what is a fact? And I said, well, a fact is a blah blah. And you said, and then you asked me, well, what's a blah blah? And I say, well, a blah blah is just the same thing as a glue glue. And you say, so a fact is a blah blah and a glue glue, and a blah blah and a glue glue are the same thing. Yes, okay, sure, that's fine. You haven't informed me of anything. So, can I finish explaining this, please? Thank you. So, you haven't actually explained anything. Yeah, well, I do know what a tautology is. A tautology is an analytic definition. Now, you haven't explained anything with respect to what you mean by what a fact is. So, can you tell me what you mean by what a fact is?
I have to possibly educate you on what a tautology is. So a tautology is a rephrasing of words. No,
that's not what a tautology is.
Yes,
no, a tautology is an analytic identity between two different propositions. So, for instance,
that's
the word.
Not just the same definition.
For instance, if I said that a bachelor is an unmarried man, I have stated a tautology because what I mean by the word bachelor. What I mean by the word bachelor is an unmarried man. So when I say that a bachelor is an unmarried man, what I'm really saying is an unmarried man is an unmarried man. Thus, it is.
Allow me to respond. So I gave a synonym, not a tautology.
So am I just like not allowed to like explain things? Why am I the one being muted instead of the person interrupting me when I'm explaining something, rather than the fucking idiot who doesn't understand what they're talking about?
If you don't know what tautology means, allow me to educate you. What I said, what I meant by actuality, it's a synonym. Allow me to respond. A tautology consists of more than one word, I gave a synonym, one word. So an actuality is not a
I blame Joe
tautology.
Biden.
That's not what a tautology
It's a
is.
synonym. Yes, it is.
No, it's
A
not. I just
tautology is a
explained what a
rephrasing
tautology
of
is.
words.
No, that's
So,
not what a
Tautology is
tautology is.
rephrasing of
A tautology
words.
is a
It is.
logical
Interrupting
relation.
everything.
You don't know what
It's
the
the
fuck you're
same.
talking about.
A tautology is
Yes,
what
I
it
do
is.
know
That
what a
is
tautology is.
It's repeating the same thing over. It is what it is. It isn't what it isn't. That is a tautology.
Yes,
The
it's
law
just
is
a
the logic.
rephrasing of words.
And okay,
That's
I gave
not
a
what a
synonym.
tautology is.
Yes,
No.
it is. It's
No,
a
it's not.
rephrasing of
No,
words
it's not.
to the
No,
same.
it's
Yes,
not.
it is.
No,
Yes,
it's
it
not.
is. Yes, it
No,
is.
it's
Yes,
not.
it is. Yes,
No,
it
it's
is. Yes,
not.
it is.
A
Yes, it is.
tautology
Yes,
is
it
an
is.
analytic identity between two different propositions.
Holy
You're a
shit.
fucking
Yes, it's the
dumbass.
same
You
definition.
don't know
Same
what you're
definition.
talking
Same
about.
definition. Yes,
And
I
it's
do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I
Guys,
do.
we're
Same
about to move
and it's
definition.
not the
Yeah.
same
Come on.
definition. So
All
no,
right.
you're
I
wrong.
suppose
You
yes,
don't
it
know
is.
what you're
Yes, we are.
talking
I'm
about.
right.
You
Yes,
should
I do. Yes, I
actually,
do.
you should
Yes, I
actually
do.
go
Yes, I
take a
do.
course
Yes, I
on
do.
formal
Yes, I do.
logic
Yes, I
because
do.
you
Yes,
obviously
yes, I
haven't.
do.
It's
Yes,
not
I do.
convincing
Yes, I do.
anybody.
Yes, I
I'm
do.
getting Samar
I'm
in.
not trying to convince anybody. I'm educating a fucking idiot with an IQ lower
You
than the
possibly don't know
temperature
what
of the
tautology
vacuum of
is.
Not
space
being
about
That's
saying
just a
able,
things they
claim.
no
That's
one
don't
just
is
a
know
able
claim.
to
That's
anything
hear
just a
what
about.
we're
claim. That's
saying.
just a
Right.
claim. That's just a claim.
Hey,
So again, a
ultimatum.
tautology is a rephrasing of words. I gave a
That's
synonym.
not what a
So what is
tautology
what
is.
yes,
Ultimatum.
yes, it
No,
is.
it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Rephrasing
No,
of
I don't
No,
want
it's
words
anyone
not.
to talk with him. The whole point is that we're going to
word.
stop talking. We're going to stop talking. All right. So I am going to bring Samar in. I think Samar probably wants to say something on it. Yes. God damn it.
Hey, Ultimated,
give
how
me
long have
one.
you been Christian?
We're gonna get, but this is the last thing. And Samar, we are Midnight Ranting. We are talking, is Christianity rational? You're the last person tonight. The floor is yours.
Yes, thank you. Hi, Amy. Hi, everyone. Can you guys hear me well?
No.
Wow.
It was lagging a little bit.
Okay. Can you hear me better now?
Still a bit choppy.
Okay. Well, I'm not gonna be long, so I'm just gonna say like a couple of things really fast. I just came in for a little contradiction to something that I believe it was Leo Filius that said earlier. He didn't agree with some people in the panel about this philosophical view of what is rational and what is not. And I believe it was Leo Filius. I'm sorry if I'm wrong. He made a claim that a person can be rational if even if something to you is irrational, if he believes actually what he's doing or believes or does that based out of a belief, then it is rational. And that and right now you saw the contradiction right in front of you, because with the ultimatum, what ultimatum did, he just acted, to me, I believe he acted irrationally and based on something he truly believes, and on something he truly believes. I don't say he's
Just a
strenuous.
belief.
I will say, Samar, it is choppy.
Can I talk for 1 minute? I listened to you talk for 3 hours.
Nobody can hear you.
Microphone
I
is
would
lagging.
say that may not be you. If you don't mind, Samar, just refresh or try to.
I have to
replug
step
your
away
phone.
from the computer for a minute.
All right.
Okay.
His belief is rational. His everything else is hard to follow.
That's just a
So,
claim. If that was
Ultimated,
directed to
how
me.
long have you been a Christian?
You just made a claim. Now you're possibly running from your claim. So what
the freak is
said,
someone else.
So my ultimative categorical syllogism proving Judeo-Christian / biblical presuppositionalism is the truth by definition.
Of course it is. By definition, because you wrote it.
How does
How
free
old
speech
are
fit into that?
How old are you?
You can just ask God that information.
Okay. I'll ask God how old you are.
If he
You
doesn't
said you're
respond
7.
back, that's not my problem.
Or at least that your
That's-
mentality is that of a 7-year-old.
Wait,
We are to
ultimatum.
be-
Ooh, but
I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 1,000. What is it? Ask God.
Yeah, God doesn't play those sort of games.
Right.
I do know who's going to his new kingdom or not.
That's cool.
Do you?
Nobody
I've
cares.
already
Am
explained.
I?
You have to care because I know where you're
I don't
going.
have to care.
Oh,
No, you
do?
don't.
You know where I'm going?
Yes, I do.
So where am I going?
Okay, where am I going?
The place opposite of God's new kingdom.
I've been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe? I'm sorry.
Where is that place? What's that place called?
The place that I'm referencing, the opposite to God's new kingdom would be the lake of fire.
Outback Steakhouse.
There will be weeping and gnashing of the teeth.
Applebee's.
Burning
Applebee's.
sulfur,
Applebee's. It's Applebee's. You're talking about Applebee's, right? Applebee's. Walmart.
Yeah.
Walmart.
Yeah.
Walmart. It's definitely Walmart.
Okay.
We don't have Walmart
Burning
either.
sulfur
So
can
who's
reach
talking
temperatures of
about-
over 100 degrees.
And so
Walmart, yep.
what's the qualification for going to that toasty place?
So you want to go there? Is that
No,
what
what do
you're
you what?
asking?
Yeah. Suppose
can
you
I
wanted
can I
to-
clarify just really quickly?
Yeah, go ahead.
So who gets into your heaven? Is it believers and actors or only believers? Is it
Hang on, it's
like
not,
does
that's a loaded
a child
question.
hang on a sec. Does a child rapist who believes in God get into your version of heaven?
Hang on, it's not just the belief. That's what you're asking me a loaded question because
I'm asking
everybody
you if
knows.
it's one or the
You're
other or
ask- hang
both.
on, you're
She's
asking
actually
me a
just
loaded
asking you.
question.
No, she's actually just
It's a
asking you a
loaded question.
question.
Allow me.
What was
any-
loaded into
any
the question?
Any
Because
question,
What was
it's
any
not
question,
belief.
any question
God's
you
ex-
don't want to answer
God's-
is loaded. You idiot.
It's a loaded question. Allow
What
me
was
to respond
loaded
to
into
it.
the
Okay, I
question?
do want to hear. I think you got
allow
it.
me
I do
to-
want to
I
hear.
will respond. I will respond. So it's not but God's existence is not just a belief. God is an ultimate fact. So obviously Satan knows God
does that
exists,
mean?
but he
That's not
wouldn't
an
put
answer.
into
That's
the,
like
yes,
a
it is.
weird deflection.
It's not even
Do
It's not.
people's beliefs qualify them getting into heaven?
You
Is
asked,
that
you
the
just made
cutoff?
the same. You made the same contradiction. It's not a belief.
I'm-
What was
I
the
asked a
contradiction?
question.
You're not answering
It's
the
a
damn
belief.
question, dude.
I am.
You've got
I'm-
no
No, you're not.
capacity to
Yes, I
listen.
am.
to
I am.
anything.
I am.
No, you're not.
All right.
Yes,
And
I am.
he's
Yes,
not-
I am.
No, you're
Yes,
not.
I am. Yes, I am.
Right.
Yes, I am.
Yes,
Okay, wow.
yes,
Wow. I think on that note,
We should kick them. Yes.
I have to say goodbye.
No, well, we're going to
Bye-bye.
outros. Peepo. Okay, well, Peepo's going by. We're going to outros. You can see your outro order in there. I do want to send everyone on there. I guess, if you're convinced of Christianity, there you go. But if not, well, we always want to say welcome to Team Atheism. So with that, everyone's going to have their own. We're going into outros. We've been Midnight Ranting on Is Christianity Rational? The rationality has been seeping through. Beamsy, we are going to
Can I
you
go first since I joined? I think I'm the first person, or maybe one of the
Usually
top
goes
three.
in the opposite order.
Yeah, it goes in the opposite order. So the first or the most recent to join, and then
how long
normally
will each
the latest.
outro be?
You know what? Because
9 hours.
Requested, yes,
Not as long as yours.
specifically 9 hours. All right, Ultimated, you're going to
80.
be our opening act tonight. We're going into our outro statements, and you are going to be our opening. Let's go. We have been Midnight Ranting on Is Christianity Rational? Woo-hoo. Thank you for being on here, Ultimated. I'll keep on saying it. We're always glad to have our Christian theists, the people that disagree with us that are part of the Skeptic and Ranting community. I'm looking forward to the debate. That's right. We are setting a debate me bra with Ultimated. So along with some more, we got Mark and Zellini and a whole bunch of fun. We're looking for the atheist to pair with him. However, Ultimated, we have been Midnight Ranting on Is Christianity Rational? And what are your final thoughts?
Okay, so to summarize this ultimative syllogism that I presented, God's existence involves the Bible / biblicalism, thus Judeo-Christian / biblical presuppositionalism follows. If someone accepts this ultimated syllogism, then they may still promote absurd ideologies to back their indirect or direct Satanism, depending on their knowledge of the Bible / biblicalism. No one can force implicit or explicit Satanists to love God, as that would contradict their life / libertarian free will. Therefore, love must come by choice. Backing the two greatest commandments in Matthew 22, verse 36 to 40. So the first greatest commandment is to love God with all your heart, mind, and soul. And the second greatest commandment is to love your neighbor as yourself. And just lastly, if you want to get a hold of me, you can message me through my youtube.com channel, Ultimated Judeo-Christian. It is the same as my StreamYard avatar, so it shouldn't be too hard to find. Thanks for having me on. God bless biblically.
Woo-hoo. Thank you very much, Ultimated, for coming into the Den of Kittens. Though we had a decent amount of Christians at one point, and we almost had the impossible meet the unmovable object. But it was great to have you, Ultimated. And with that, we are going to move down to Beamsy.
You're back.
Beamsy. We have been Midnight Ranting on Is Christianity Rational? I'm pretty sure anyway, somewhere in there. And so I hope you had a good time. What you got going on? What are your final thoughts?
It's actually nice to finally get a leg in on this. But to bring this madness back to the basic topic, you are presenting, is something rational? It's a malformed question because anything that can be rationalized is rational. The better question would be to ask, what rationalizations are used to allow for a point to be rational? If using Judeo-Christian's example, his rationalization would be ad infinitum. God exists because God exists, because any comment presupposes God. And that just keeps looping upon itself. That basically creates an infinite loop of presuppositions and assumptions and rationalizations to support his claim of God exists. So his position is not rational to most people because they look at the sheer amount of rationalizations he has to make to support his position. But from his position, yes, he is making a perfectly rational situation. That's why I think it is a malformed question to ask, is something rational? It's better to ask, is something looked at with the least amount of rationalizations performed?
Woohoo! Thank you so very much, Beamsy. Lovely having you on as always. And all right, we're going right down the list. Duchess of Clutches. Wonderful to have you on. We've been Midnight Ranting on Is Christianity Rational? Do you have anything going on in the interwebs, and what are your final thoughts?
Yes, it's been very interesting on the World Wide Web this evening, for sure. My pithy little thoughts, I guess, are no, I don't believe it's rational. I don't believe it's objective by the empirical measures that we can use to understand and know things that are true versus untrue. What I will say is that I don't think that in and of itself makes any moral prescriptions about Christianity or religion in general. I think that Christianity and religion are about, at their core, they're about assigning meaning. And I don't think that there's an objective meaning that we can know. But I do believe that there is an objective reality. We will all assign meaning differently based on our experiences, our lives. But what I do want to kind of put in there that I'm much more inclined to be generous, I guess, to Christians who believe that beliefs plus acts get somebody to heaven and not just the belief. To me, that's critical in terms of how I would trust or believe that person in terms of what they say. No, not everything that can be rationalized is rational. For example, in the mind of someone who has delusions or schizophrenia or something like that. At the end of the day, I do think there's lots of stuff that we can know for sure. And yeah, that's my 2 cents. Thanks, Amy.
Woohoo! Absolutely, it was lovely having you on, Duchess. And all right, we're going right down. Stephanie, we have been Midnight Ranting on Is Christianity Rational? What you got going on in the interwebs, and what are your final thoughts?
Well, what I've got going on in the interwebs is popping up here and there. On the 2nd of February, I'll be on Skeptic Haven. Talking about something rather, I can't remember what. But I've got a little tiny YouTube channel. It's at Sidra on YouTube, and there are only like 3 videos up there, a couple of live streams, and one me, atheist staff, talking to a Methodist congregation. Pretty fun. As to this debate, I'll end it as I began it. At least my contribution. It's like if Christianity is as rational as any other religious belief, and there was someone who, not the fellow who wanted to dominate tonight's conversation, but some Christian in the things. Well, it leads me to a good life. I live a good life because of my Christian belief. Okay. My question at the time was, is your Christian belief the exclusive way to live a good life? And, is it possible for a Buddhist? Is it possible for a Hindu? Is it possible for an atheist to lead a good life? If the answer is yes, then the question of God is somewhat moot, whether it's rational or not. We're all trying to work towards being kind to each other, towards social justice, towards freedom, towards liberty, towards celebrating human beings, right? And if that's where your faith leads you, if that's where your tradition leads you, then I'm good with that. If your tradition leads you to a place where only my tradition is the way to lead a good life, that's A, irrational, and B, demonstrably false. Because there are lots of very, very good people who do not follow Christianity, or particularly your brand of Christianity, of which there are legion. So I don't, I don't care where it's almost, you don't need a definition of what's rational. You need a definition of what works. And I don't see how you can have every kind of self-justification element to an argumentation that my way or the highway is the way to go. But my contention is my way or the highway is not rational at all.
Thank you so very much, Stephanie. It was lovely having you on. And all right, we're going right down, and then there's always an after show on the Discord. However, DeFreak, what is up? We have been Midnight Ranting on Is Christianity Rational? Hope you had a fun time. And what are your final thoughts?
Oh, well, I have to pretty much agree with the last 2 outros. And the only thing that's kind of irrational about Christianity is the fact that he would put himself in that position of weakness on the cross to essentially get us out of one judgment free, one of God's judgments free. And, it makes no sense other than love. And of course, Jesus did say that there's no greater love than, man lay down his life for his friends. And that's what we see in Christianity. So Christianity, rational. The act of what he did, he knows better, because I would have tossed mankind away a long time ago. But that's just just my limited little me. And I just want to shout out to P-Town too, because he was catching some flack earlier on another broadcast that he held up pretty well, I think, when he was in. So proud of him for that. And just
what was that
shout out
broadcast, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm not gonna say, just because I don't want it to, kind of circle back to me. But
hey,
yeah, I think it'll be easily found if someone were to look for it. But he was getting a lot of what do you call it, like Don Wrinkles type of roasting. Let's just put it that way.
Gotcha.
And he could have lashed out, but he did. So that was
Who is
pretty,
that?
impressive. P-Town.
Oh, P-Town. Okay.
Yeah. And then I was just gonna say, another shout out to James. He's one of my favorite knowledgeable atheists that I'm still hoping.
Thank you, DeFreak.
Get on our side one day. So anyway, thank you, Amy, and until next time, thank you.
Have a good night, DeFreak.
Thank you so very much, Freak. Lovely having you on.
Thank you.
And all right, we only have Samar and Leophilius before it goes to the pilots. Oh, Leo left? Okay, we'll send in love to Leophilius. You should all be going to youtube.com/Leo. I used to ask DeFreak. I don't know if DeFreak does content creation. I always see him around, though. So check out DeFreak around the interwebs, and check out Leophilius at youtube.com/Leophilius, as well as Mark Reid at youtube.com/MarkReidAtheism. And while we're doing shout outs, why not just go to Tang at youtube.com/The Atheist Network Group, and Randolph Richardson at youtube.com/Randolph Richardson. Hey, Gur streams. There's Based, he does streams. There's so many wonderful people. What's up, Regis? So simple a model that it isn't a viable model. Yeah, they don't actually seem to have one. All right, let's go to it. I'm wishing you luck, Samar. I'm handing it right back over to you. Samar, we have been Midnight Ranting on Is Christianity Rational? Do you have anything going on the interwebs? But more importantly, what are your final thoughts?
Okay, I hope this time it's working, Amy. I hope you can hear me better. I closed all apps and like over 100 tabs. I believe there are some parts of Christianity. I'm not Christian, so I believe there are some parts of Christianity which are rational, including the belief in the Creator, or starting with the belief in the Creator. And I don't have to go and mention what I don't find rational in Christianity, because I'm not here to bash Christianity. And the reason I say that, yes, I believe there is enough of you to do that. The reason I say that is because it has been wrongly put to put the burden of proof on a theist to prove that there is a God, when we have yet to prove that something can come from nothing. And I hear like, oh no, the H's don't say that. No matter how we go, if we go to the Big Bang model, we're gonna need something that will explode. If we go to the quantum fluctuations, then we have stuff coming out of nothing, popping into existence from nothing for a minute fraction of a second. So it is irrational to believe that beautiful people like you guys that can't think and everything just came from nothing. So that is the extraordinary claim, and the extra, like you guys say, the extraordinary claim requires extraordinary proof. That's why I find it that someone is gonna lay the claim that he made this universe, and I also believe that he would reach out to us one way or another. So throughout the history, when we have all these religions that came in and said that God, that creator of the universe, have reached out to us, the least we can do is take it with some seriousness. I don't think the approach that your guest tonight had was very reasonable. I don't believe he represents Christians, to be fair. I mean, people need to understand that. I don't believe Christians believe those outrageous things that he believes. But I also wanted to make a point that to Leo Filius, I believe he's a very smart guy. I mean, I'll give him this from the beginning. He made a claim that something rational can come, and something could be irrational to us, but it could still be considered rational if the person that did that act did it out of something they believe. And then he contradicted himself when he got annoyed at Ultimated, or I forgot what his name was, because he was literally the definition of what Leo Filius described. That person was really acting out of personal belief. To me, I trust him. I believe that he believes those things. I know they are wrong, but does that make that rational? No, it doesn't. It is not rational. No Christians believe that. And I asked a question a few times in the chat. I wished Amy had saw it, had seen it. I wanted to know if Ultimated was acting on personal beliefs, or is there a group, some kind of group or sect or something that shares his beliefs? Because it's like so outrageously different from what all my Christian friends believe. And thank you, Amy. I like your platform. I like the how the discussions flow. I like how you guide the talk and everything, and how you're patient with guests. A lot of I know that a lot of hosts would kick out a lot of people throughout the show, and you don't do that. So you have like a lot of patience. Good, kudos to you.
Well, thank you so very much, Samar. It was lovely having you on. I have a final, just last question. If we were to get you to, would you ever want to debate Leo Filius? Or was it just...
Yes, I would. Like, I was like really prepared. I don't know what topic I would.
This connection would have to be way better.
Yeah.
This, so.
But it might just be tonight. Hopefully, it is still choppy. I apologize, Samar. However, I liked all of the things that you said about the channel and the back and forth and all of that. And so, I not only appreciate you coming on, and I don't mean that in any specific way. We can actually find a topic that that you and Leo disagree about, because we just want to have more debates on the channel. So thank you so very much, Samar. We really appreciate it, and you definitely have a home here in the Skeptic and Ranting community.
Thank you very much, Amy. Thank you, and you guys have a great night.
Good night.
Woohoo! And all right, with that, there are only the pilots to crash or land the plane. Thus,
that plane crashed about an hour ago.
Indeed. James, we were trying to avoid nukes, and someone was trying to give us handies. This is what happens. But we have been talking. We have been midnight ranting on Is Christianity Rational? And what are your final thoughts?
Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. So watch that debate, the Matt Dillahunty versus Stuart Konecki debate. It was a very good debate. Unfortunately, we didn't talk about it really very much here, but it was a very good debate. If you guys haven't watched it, of course, Matt Dillahunty did amazing in that debate, as he typically does. Yeah, Christianity doesn't seem very rational for all the reasons we talk about on here all the time. And to all our viewers, yeah, tonight's stream went a little bit more chaotic than we would have liked. So we're going to talk and see what we can do to try to smooth things out, so we don't end up with quite this level of chaos. Yeah, thanks, and have a good night.
Woo-hoo! Thank you so very much, James. Sending love, Jordan. Sending love to all of you out there. I'll give my final. Love to see science. And hey, I'll tell you, see science. I would love to set you up with a debate. Do you do voice
He's
debate.
not going to debate. No.
I would say, but I'm like, I feel like I should tempt you.
He's been in our back studio at least like 10 times and never spoke a word.
But we are looking for more creationist, more theist, Christian, Muslim, Jewish, Hindu.
It was very too chaotic. Yeah.
Yes. Sometimes I will say that we only learn the hard way. And so we do see all of your feedback in chat. A lot of times it's hard to process and make changes on the fly. However, we really do listen to our audience and we want to adjust to the skeptic and ranting community. I don't think it makes anyone happy, the theist or the atheist, when they can't get their points out. However, we like the spice. We like the back and forth. And so we're just going to learn how to focus that enthusiasm. Though I find, and this is, it's just a problem, I have found that many presuppositional conversations, they're just not good conversations.
Well, I mean, they want to hold his feet to the fire and make him answer, but he's not going to answer. He's just going to deflect and say he answered it. And yeah.
Well, it's extremely easy to say, this presupposes.
Oh, let me read my premise 1 again, and then we just go in circles.
See, exactly.
You don't
I do want to send love out. If you are a channel member, if you are a Patreon, you get access to our Talk Skeptic to Me show, where we actually will produce you. You can say whatever you want, any topic, as long as you have expertise or experience. We're looking to get it out to the world. However, if you have a podcast of your own, if you would like to launch a podcast, I will help you do so. Gizmo and I will work hand in hand. It will be produced by the Jewish Space Lasers, exactly, hand in paw. Only the finest catnip while he's working to get you get this shit done. Yeah, I'm looking to have even more fun than actually getting through and producing some people, and it has been a really great time. And the link is in there, and I'll pin it. However, I think that's the final message. We want to get more debates on here. As you can tell, we're looking for creationists of the old or young earth. Whatever you are, reach out to us so we can pair you up with a skeptic or an atheist. We want to make a match made in your heaven. Trying to think what else. I think that is basically it. I'm sending out love to Brett Keane, who is seeming to go through not only a breakup with what I would say are toxic creationist Christians.
We'll see about that.
What exactly? And so he gets flack from both sides that'll say, "Don't flip flop. You change whenever." I have heard at least an underlying theme of trying to know the truth, of trying. That's why I like Maltheism and all this, and so I will keep on saying it, Brett. If you are really if you are questioning God, good. I think that is a natural progression of the thought experiments of an evil, maltheistic God, and these Christians not having their foot to the fire. I think that once you actually get into the nitty gritty, they don't answer questions. They become the politically correct politicians that they all say that the liberal and the secularists are. And so, if you were fighting against the Westis Baptist Church, that is a form of Westboro, that is a form of fundamentalism. It is what you hear coming out of Matt Powell's mouth, and so it's not a
similar stuff.
Yeah, it's not a surprising deja vu that you are having those same feelings, that you went in thinking that it was going to be the hippies that were all love and peace, and it turns out to be A bunch of reprobates. So sending love. There's still lots of good people out there who are Christian. There's still, like I said, you can take the Jeffersonian Bible and strip down all the miracles, get away all of the nonsense, and just have a first century rabbi that was saying some okay things from the East and incorporating them into Western. Yes. But all of that could be done a secular way. And what I'm saying, and the weird thing I'm saying is if you're looking for a community that actually, we call out hypocrisy, and you'll hear James do it, and that's why the atheists continue to maybe tease and stuff. But if you want that weird purity, it's this weird thing. The religions, they can't all be right, and yet they can all be wrong. And so we get this weird unifying force where we all kind of become friends, not because we all agree each other, not because our politics are the same, but it's like that camaraderie in just, we do not believe this thing because there is no evidence. It just gives this nice clarity. But yeah, I'll just say that. Because you need people to stay strong. You need people to stay strong with you. You need people to be friends. And sometimes when you got nobody, you need to give people an alternative, or else the feelings become resentment and hate. And I just want everybody to love each other. And so sending love. Need evidence for the initial creation event. Claims or arguments of creation is the best I have heard. No evidence. That points to creation being the most plausible explanation. Couldn't agree more, Regos. They don't seem to. In fact, it always seems to be like asserted in the sentence. Well, if we were created, then who was our creator? No, we didn't have a creator because we were not created. We were formed naturally arising process.
Well, that's what they do. They just assert that everything is a creation and then requires a creator. But the fact that everything is a creation is just an assertion. They don't have any evidence for it.
Exactly. And it's something that all of the actual empirical evidence right now points to a natural forming source. They're
just incredulous to that. They don't think it's true. They don't accept it, that it's possible. So therefore they assert the only other alternative is creation.
Exactly. I'm seeing links. Beamsy and sending love. All right. I think that's as much as I can hold on. I'm just trying to think of other things about Christianity. Sending love to Stilett and see science. Natheist, Beamsy, Regos.
I think Matt,
everyone out there in chat, Jordan.
Matt, I like the example Matt gave of. It was the same example I gave during my debate on slavery with Praise, when Praise was saying but God could never condone slavery because God is love, and look how many times in the Bible it says to love people.
And
I love
when they say that about God, because God could be a really big a-hole. I'm always like, it's not only that God is not the all-loving. He's not only maximally loving. He's not very loving. And I used to go about good. You can maybe say in some representations he has love for some of his creatures, in between all of the hate and genocide and murder.
He pointed out, like I pointed out, when Jesus threw the moneylenders out of the temple, and that he was obviously angry at them, and he kind of objected to the whatever weapon Jesus had in his hand, with a flail or whatever it was. He had some kind of weapon that he was using to threaten them to get out, or he was going to hit them with it, and he used it. Yeah, so there was that, and then there is of God being not loving. There's the plagues of Egypt. He mentioned that where and he made the same point I did, where God hardened Pharaoh. The Pharaoh probably would have let him go, and he stepped in and hardened Pharaoh's heart so that Pharaoh would let him go, so he could have more fun showing off and raining death and destruction down on the people of Egypt, just for his own amusement. He was having a lot of fun. He wasn't going to have that fun. He wasn't going to have that fun cut short by something like maybe the Pharaoh letting him go. I mean, no. Let's see what, and trying to see if there's anything else that I have.
Also,
of course,
Noah.
Yeah, they mention love, they mention altruism, and assert that's got to be a reason for God. We've covered that back and forth, up and down. The rapid spread of Christianity. I mean, it's a compelling story, but that's all that it is. It's a story, and the thing is, when you start looking around the edges, looking at the pieces, and once you start asking questions, it falls apart really quickly. If you're just willing to accept it and you don't care if it makes sense, you just like it and you're going to believe it, okay. But if you start asking questions, if you want it to be consistent and make sense, you're going to find the flaws in it pretty quickly.
It's going to break apart fairly after the first few questions.
He did the Judgment Day thing, the fallacy, which is, we've said, which is when they say like, oh, so you mean to tell me, okay, Hitler, so he started those wars, he killed so many millions of people and, wrought death and destruction down on Earth. And then right before he's going to be caught, he puts a gun to his head and shoots himself. And that's just it. There's nothing else after that. Well, yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
If you don't like that, too bad. That's the reality of it. Now, that's
why we need to find justice in this life.
If you want to just pretend he got some sort of justice in the next life, okay, but that's just pretend. We don't have any actual reason to believe that. And then Stuart, he said, I want to keep living. He said, well, Matt, if you're happy with just this 80 years, 90, 95 years you get on this earth and you're happy with that and that's good for you, then yeah, but I don't want it to end. I want it to keep going. I want my relationships to endure past this life. And okay, yeah, that's nice. You can want those things. Most of us do. What you're not doing is giving us good reasons to believe they're actually true, no matter how nice they sound.
Indeed.
You can make something sound really, really nice. Like I could tell everybody here, I'm going to give everybody in chat $1 million, and that would sound really nice. Can I actually do it? No. I know I could not. So as nice as it might sound, it ain't going to happen. Let's see if there's anything else.
And I'll answer that, Nathius.
Go ahead.
Does the atheist community act like religious community? We have talks like these. We have speakers. We have rhetorists. We have existential questions. We have morals. I would say that we are not a religious community, but we are a community. Just like you could become, the basket weaving community or the movie going community or whatever it is, I would say we are all just shared in our one unifying position. There is no God. However, I would say that once you look for other things, once you look for community, I think that it's important to have alternatives, to have replacements. Some people really miss going somewhere on Sunday. And so, Randolph has his streams every other Sunday during kind of the same times that you would go to church. James and I are going to be doing the same thing for like a church nighttime and maybe sometimes on the off week that Randolph doesn't have, because we want to give people a replacement to come and talk about religion, science, and theology or philosophy. Yes, mostly just to come mostly all over here. But yes, I think that we're trying to healthfully replace the community. We shouldn't become the things that they're trying to they're always like, you're just becoming a religion or becoming a cult or becoming the thing you hate. No, we should become the best versions of the only good things that are actually of religion.
That was one of the videos.
Become gods.
That was in one of the videos I sent to you last time. Somebody saying atheists are assholes because they're just like the religious people. If they don't like the religious people proselytizing, why are they doing it? It's not that we don't like religious people. They're free to try to convert people. They're free to try to convince people. That's not the problem. No, just like we're free to tell you why we don't believe, they're free to tell you why we do believe. We just think our position makes more sense.
Exactly. We just don't have good evidence. We are, in fact, not convinced that Christianity is true. And on that note, I think that we can start to say, I hope you had a good time on this episode of Midnight Ranting.
Stuff like this replaces church for
Is
me.
Christianity true? Exactly. Woohoo! Glad to hear it, Nathias, and we are glad to have you and everyone here at the Skeptic.
They're selling an
and
invisible
Rant
product.
community.
We're
exactly
giving you something actual.
Hopefully, we can give you a little bit of entertainment. Who's a good snake? Who doesn't have vocal cords? No, you don't. No, you don't. It's over so soon. I know, it's a very quick stream. Gizmo starts to get a little bit antsy if I go over that 3-hour mark. And so we're doing it.
Passed the fuck out.
Exactly. And I will, this is my last thing, my last thing. It's always weird to me that a god would have a son, just like on that level. It is always just sounded like a sitcom. Like there's Yahweh somewhere. It's just like an overarching voice. And you just hear like Jesus open the door and he comes in and everyone's like, oh, and they do the clapping. And then he just sits on the couch and Yahweh, the voice is just like, what's wrong, Jesus? And Jesus is like, I got nailed today. And Yahweh's just like, oh, come on, Jesus. Let's turn that frown upside down. I made popsicles. And just like popsicles fall down from the sky.
Jesus, just look down in hell and look at the non-Christian kids being tortured down there. That'll warm your heart.
Oh,
again.
You're right, Yahweh. That does make it all better. And so does chocolate. Oh, my God.
Look at that kid. He didn't believe in us because he was born into a culture that didn't know about us, but he's still down there burning.
Exactly. James, the flesh never flays off their bones. But speaking of which,
years from now, he'll still be down there burning.
Which makes no sense. If you never learn a lesson from forever, which is always just, and if the lesson is I exist, you really just need like an hour. I would say 5 minutes of torture, maybe 30 seconds. Like forever. You need forever to torture them for not Christianity.
I can't contemplate watching somebody burn for 15 seconds without wanting it to stop. Even like the most evil person in the world.
Have you ever burned your tongue?
Out.
Fucking ruins your day.
I know. If a hot pocket can ruin our entire lives, I feel like Yahweh needs to step his game up.
I know I've told you about it before, but the Catholic Church's chief indulgence seller in the 1500s, a guy named a monk, Father Johann Tetzel, he used to go around the city selling indulgences where he could forgive your sins and you won't have to go to purgatory. You'll go straight to heaven if you buy his indulgence. And he used to do these presentations and he would have a torch there and he would insert his hand into the torch for a good 10, 15 seconds and pull it out all burnt and black and charred and show the people there. And then, of course, he would say, just imagine that, but not for 10 seconds, but for eternity.
Once again, if you think
fear and coercion
that a finite crime, I guess they're going to say it's the most. If you think a finite crime should be punished infinitely, you may subscribe to Christianity, but you're not moral, and neither is your guide. And on that note,
it got so bad the church had to retire him. Yeah.
I hope you all had a good time on this episode of Midnight Ranting. Is Christianity rational? Where tonight we threw a modern day debate inspired after party from the debate. Stuart Conneckley versus Matt Dillahunty on Is Christianity Rational? For a good time worth raising the dead for. However, I do want to thank my co-host James W. Ding! Along with all of our fantastic guests, Mark, Based, Ultimated, Leophilius, Disciple, P-Town, Peebo, Stephanie, Duchess, Beamsy, Samar, and Nathiest, woohoo! As well as all of the lovely people in chat, our awesome mods who make this stream so great, and of course, lovely viewers like you who make this channel even possible. If you enjoy the show, please don't forget to share it with your friends. It gets you all sorts of interaction out there with both your family, with your loved ones, but also that person that you're debating with. And if you enjoy, please don't forget to like, follow, or subscribe. It gains you access to that bell icon, which when set to all will give you reminders to see our premieres or join our live streams. Or hey, why not leave a comment once the video's done? We will also be opening, you can also leave a super thanks and we'll read it back on the next episode. But the Skeptic and Ranting Discord server is opening up for the after party. The description below, it's the after party. It's where the cool people go, along with all of our fantastic channel members. That's right. Though the best way to help us with our evolving badge system, the best way to help us make even more content is by checking out our Patreon and unlocking some unique perks.
Very unique. You don't even know how unique.
Exactly. So amazing. So unique. Some people.
Thank you, Nathiest. You can watch the show all day over there. There you go.
Really? Woo! Send in so much love. We hope that we have been entertaining for you. But you can check out patreon.com/Amy Newman. I am Amy Newman, and we will see you all on the next episode of Skeptic Bull Z. Good night, y'all. Mwah!
Good night, guys.